Hello, my friends. How are you doing? Thanks for joining. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Let me see. Oh, no. The messages. Let me unpin the message. Now I can read the posts. Okay. Hi, Eric. Thanks to you for joining from Vienna. Hi, Wojtek from Poland. Thank you for joining. HH from Vanwich, Limburg. Hi. Thanks for joining. Hi, Joe from California. Robert from also Vienna. Wow. Hey. Detlef from Canada. Hi, how are you doing? Roland from Ireland. Captain Jack from Seattle. Hi, Thomas from Poland. Hi, how are you doing? Thank you, everybody, for joining today. All right, I hope you had a great day and a good weekend. It's getting really cold, right? Here in Vienna today was the first really cold day. So it was kind of freezing. Not freezing, but you know, like just like not nice. Not this kind of nice, warm autumn afternoon. Okay, let me pin that comment again. Where is it? There it is. Boom. All right. So as you know, I have a new online course out, which is, about microworlds. I hope this is still interesting for a lot of people. And I invested a lot of time to create that and to research into how to do that, especially this kind of water world that I've created there. Let me switch here to the other view real quick. So this is what I have created. You've probably seen the video yesterday. You can see here with this underwater world, why I decided this underwater world is because there you need 2 levels. Usually you just have the top levels and then a little bit of stone stuff around the outside. And here you need a top level and then you need a ground level, which is the seabed. And I put some stuff in there. And then I also put some birds up here and some clouds, and I put the lighthouse. So there's a lot of different things involved here that I all explain in that online course. And by the way, another thing that I will do maybe in a week or so, in a week or 10 days, is to add a full other second world that I will make a full video about that, just one video in that case, where you can also see me watch me build that second world, which will have stone walls, some other kinds of trickiness about it. So you can learn some extra stuff. I will add it to the same course, basically upgrade that. So and I've posted a link. It's a sticky link right now. The first 100 people get that for $25 instead of the 70. So like entry price offer, basically. All right, where's the chat? It's always jumping around. There we go. All right. Hi, JB. How are you doing? Thanks for joining. All right, I hope you're excited. And yeah, I want to do a composite again. And I also want to talk a little bit about the GoPro, just to show you some extra pictures I've taken, and also pictures with the GoPro Max that I've taken, where you can take like 360-degree pictures. Have we looked at the pictures last time? I can't remember. Time is really flying. When did I do that video? By the way, did you like that slow-mo intro stuff? I was really impressed by that, how easy that is. Especially because the GoPro 10, you can take 240 pictures per second in 2.7K resolution, which is good enough for YouTube any day. And this means you just film like for a second or two, and you have a long video that you can then just cut the best part of that. And this is why they are so nice and stable. And then you do some extra trickery, like maybe rotate the picture, because you can zoom into the picture a little bit because of the high resolutions. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do there. Is there some extra messages I missed? No. All right. Whew. Okay, so it's going to be an interesting stream. Thank you for joining. And let's have a look real quick. Like, I wanted to show you some extra shots. And by the way, I think I need to do a second video about the GoPro, or maybe about both of the GoPros, because first of all, I took so much time to create that video. Like I went to that place multiple times, because at the first time I filmed and then I photographed and then I looked at the videos. I wasn't completely satisfied. I went there the second time. I tried some other things out with the camera to make these kind of slow motion shots. Then I made the video, and I was so excited about everything, and especially about all these kind of gadgets that you have. Is there something here like this, you see? Okay, forget about that. This thing here, which I love. Oh, not that part, but this part here, where you can just clamp your camera to any kind of surface, and then like you close that thing here, and it's just staying in that position, right? So you can just put it anywhere you want. I think I talked so much about the gear that you can have for the GoPro that I forgot a little bit to talk about actually what the GoPro does. Which is insane, because the video should be about the GoPro, not about the gadgets. But I think, I mean, a large part of having a GoPro is using the gadgets, right? So that's okay. And of course, you expect it to take really good pictures anyways. But it has some cool modes on top of that, like, for example, the burst mode, which takes 45 pictures in 1.5 seconds before you press the button and after you press the button, which is really big brain technology, basically, right? Because you can make a photo because before you even think about taking a photo. And with video, it's even more extreme because it can take 30 seconds of video before you press the record button in case you missed something, which is also a really great idea. Yeah, so it's really pretty impressive, the stuff that they built into the camera, and a lot of other stuff, right? Okay, and if you have some questions throughout the stream, please let me know. Let me see here. Is this? Oh, this is still on the other screen. What did I miss? Chapwin, hi from USA. Thanks for joining. Wojciech, I can't read that. From Poland? I don't know what that says. Jens from Germany, hi. Thanks for joining. JB says you are really going to make me buy a GoPro 10. Maybe. By the way, I have to point that out. Before you buy the GoPro, do not buy the GoPro on Amazon. Maybe buy it on Amazon. I don't know. It's just like, I would suggest you buy it on the GoPro.com page, because let me show you that. That is really an important part of that. We have to switch over here. Bloop. There we go. Okay. So when you buy it on the GoPro page, they have this kind of subscription service that costs $50 a year. And when you take that subscription service with the buying the camera, you get the camera a lot cheaper. You see? So usually it costs, wow, it costs $620. Did I pay so much for that? No, I didn't. You pay $629. Is that correct? And then it's $430. For the when you take it with the subscription, which is kind of strange because you get the subscription and the camera, and then you also pay less. But the positive side is also let me log in here real quick. Let me do that for a second before we go on, and I can show you the other stuff. 1 second. There we go. So now, okay. Anyways. You also get these gadgets reduced. You see here, for example, that wait a second, cases like this under, where is it? No, that's the wrong one. Protection. Like, for example, this guy here. The underwater protection. It's usually underwater safe, but this is an extra protection if you want to dive really deep or do really rugged stuff with it. And it's like $25 reduced and $50 normally, this is what this subscription gives you, these kind of discounts. So yeah, I thought for $25, I rather spend $25 now than destroying a camera that costs $500 later, right? And some other stuff, like they have also this kind of max lens here, which is pretty impressive. This here, it's a lens that turns it into a fisheye on one side, and that also gives you a extreme form of stabilization. That means you can turn the camera around 180 degrees, like upside down, and the picture is still going straight forward, right? It's not changing in any way, which is really impressive. You should watch some videos about that. This is like this lens adapter here, so you get some pretty cool stuff for a reduced price. You can see here, this is like $70 compared to $99. Always when you look at these prices, think about what a lens costs for a normal camera. Like fisheye lens, $1,400 for a full frame, $700 for a APS-C camera, and here it's like $70 for a GoPro camera. So of course the mirrorless is giving you better picture, but you can't strap it to your head, right? So that's the downside. Anyways. I'm, by the way, I'm not paid by them because someone said, oh, I didn't think you will go and make advertisement. If I make advertisement for anything, I'm going to tell you that they paid me for it, which I haven't done yet. Have I done that yet? No, I don't think I have done that yet. The only paid gig I have done is from Serif themselves, from Affinity Photo, because they did this kind of supporting artist through the Corona pandemic, and so I made a video for them that they showed on the main channel, with the alien portal, and they paid for that. They paid everybody for that who has been part of that kind of project, right? Which was really nice that they support their community in that way. Anyways, let's go over to the pictures. Bloop. Let's close this. So this is the picture I think I showed in the video. Let me undock this so we have this full screen. Sorry. Let's pull this over here. And of course, GoPro is wide angle, which is very nice. So you can have these very nice shots. I think this is the one I showed in the video, which is nice because it kind of surrounds the... Do you actually see what I'm seeing? Yes, it's a work view. Yes, okay, perfect. That should be good. It surrounds the building. But you can also do stuff like this, for example, where, of course, this is maybe not a shot you would take, but you can see this black thing here in the middle. That's a grass leaf from grass, right? This is a puddle on the ground, as I show in my video about the GoPro. And you can even dip it into water. So this is something you cannot do with a mirrorless because just the lens is too big to fit under the grass, right? Stuff like that, or shots like this where you are inside of foliage, stuff like that. Usually a bigger camera will just push that stuff out of the way. So that the size, I think, is a good factor, and also the ruggedness and that you can strap it to your body is also kind of a benefit. So yeah, for these kind of reasons, I thought that might be a really good addition. Anyways. So we have these kind of crazy pictures here, and I'm, as you know, I'm a really big fan of this kind of wide angle, kind of a little bit fisheye-ish look. If you go for the super wide look, you see it's a bit fisheye. You can see how the building here is bending to the side. Of course, you can then unbend it in your software. You can, how do you say that? Lens correct, basically, right? Sadly, there is no lens profile for the GoPro in DxO Photo Lab, and I don't think in Affinity Photo either. Maybe they get that in the future, I don't know, but you can do it just by feeling, right? That's no problem. For example, you can go in here, let's go here to customize real quick, and then you go down here to, wait a second. Where is that? Geometry down here, sorry. Distortion, and then you go down here to fisheye. That's important because if you go to barrel, it's not going to be enough from the unstretching, basically. But if you go to fisheye and then you unstretch that, you can see that you can actually get it, get everything straight. So that's the way to go. But there's no profile for that yet. Maybe someone is going to create one that you can then download, right? But now I want to show you something else. Before I do that, I want to look at the chat real quick. Let's have a look. What does the chat say? Let's put it over here real quick. What did I read so far? I can't remember. Boom, boom, boom. The GoPro, yes. Martin, hi from Canada. Damien, hi from the Czech Republic. Maybe I should put that in the middle so I can look kind of at the camera. Hi, everybody. Jurek from Poland. Hi, how are you doing? Hector from Denmark. Hi. JB. Hi. Oh, great advice. Okay, thank you very much. The Bernie from Oberbayern. Hi, how are you doing? Bavaria, my old, how do you say? My home country, basically. Germany, Bavaria. Coart, talking about gear, what do you think about the Sony Alpha 4? I have no idea. I have not looked at that, to be honest. I didn't look into that. That should be coming soon with 33 megapixel sensor. Will you upgrade? No, absolutely not. I just bought my A7 III, like just as like a year ago, a little bit over a year ago, but I'm extremely happy with the A7 III. I didn't even upgrade to the A7S III or something. First of all, it's extremely expensive. And then the A7 III actually does everything I need. So yeah, Read the GoPro has some overheating issues. Did you experience anything of that? Yes, it does. And I actually overheated when I was filming at home. Because I was filming a video for you guys, for my channel. And of course, the camera is not made so you put it on a tripod and then film for an hour with that little camera. That's not the idea behind that. So of course, that was not ideal. Usually what you do with the camera is either you are doing sports where the wind is blowing by, or you're in water, or you film short sections with the camera. So it's not really a camera where you film on the highest resolution with the highest frame rate for half an hour or something like that. That is not the concept behind the camera, right? So I think if it's overheating, you're probably doing something that is a little bit too much for the camera. But I think for normal situations, it should not really overheat. But another thing that is something that I found out is that this camera is eating batteries. You need so many batteries. It's really crazy. I don't know why it needs so many batteries. Because the GoPro Max doesn't need, I didn't have the impression that the battery is going empty with the GoPro Max very fast. I usually only had one battery with me with the GoPro Max filming in Thailand during the day, and that was enough. I didn't film like a whole lot, but I did, for example, a walk down the beach for like 10 minutes or something, or like longer walks, and I didn't have any kind of problem with that. So that was completely okay. Anything else? Message retracted. Hi, Volkmar. How are you doing? Thanks for joining. The limited offer for the microbolt cost doesn't seem to be working. Really? The link that I posted here as a sticky link doesn't work? Let me see. No, for me it does work. See? I clicked on the link on the on the shop page, and then it's reduced by it's reduced to $25 from $70, right? Also, if it doesn't work, you can just enter this code on the checkout. There's a little code box. There should be a little code box, and then you just enter first one. I thought it's funny because that's what people often write as a comment. Do they write first one, or I think they just write first? I kind of messed that up. Anyways, you know what I mean by that. All right, what were we talking about? Man, I'm talking so much again. Let me see. Where's the chat? Hi from Bavaria. Huh? Volkmar. Also Bavaria, that's good. Bernie said, I found profiles for Hero 3 Black and Hero 4 in Affinity. Yes, but those are pretty old cameras, right? It's like Hero 4. How long is that ago? I think they make a camera per year, so that might be 7 years ago. I don't know, something like that. I tried paying with PayPal and 2 different credit cards, and the purchase failed. That is strange. Are you maybe in a country that has some kind of regulations where that doesn't work or something like that? Because PayPal and credit card should work fine. I have a lot of people paying with that. Otherwise, if it does not work, please write them an email, because I have no influence on the payment process. So only they can help you with that. Because this is also why I have the online shop with Gumroad, because they care for everything. The security, the payment, all these kind of things is handled by them, and so it's super secure. So yeah, that they can help you with that. Of course, if you have problems with the product, write me, or if you want a refund for some reason, also write me. That's not something they are concerned with, but the payment process is something. When will you review images? Later today. So I usually talk a little bit, and then I do an edit, and then I do the review of the pictures at in an hour or in 1.5 hours, stuff like that. Okay, let's just talk a little bit about this here. So this is done with the GoPro Max. You can see it's a little bit overexposed, but I will show you in a second why it's overexposed, and then your mind is going to blow up. So this is the same puddle picture as we have here. That's not the picture I'm looking for. Like this. This is done with the GoPro 10. Pretty cool. Or this kind of picture here is done with the GoPro 10 in the puddle here with the building. It's also overexposed. I edited a lot to get the values back. By the way, you can do raw pictures with the GoPro 10. That's possible. But if you have raw pictures only with, I think with white or with super white. So you can't change the the setting of the lens itself, but that's okay because all of the settings are digital anyway, so you can afterwards just crop and lens correct and then you're fine. But now let's look at this. This is done with the GoPro Max. Do I have it here somewhere? No, it's in one of these boxes. Anyways, look at this. So this is the photo, and now whoop, let's zoom out. And let's zoom out a little bit more. Oh, did I take the right picked one? Let me see. Oh no, this is the wrong one. I have to wait a second. I have to find another picture where we don't see the stick. Let's take this picture here. That's better. Okay, I have to rotate this 1 second. This is also something you can do with the GoPro Max, is that you can rotate this. And then the stupid thing is this doesn't work then. How can I get over there now? Wait, word lock? No, this doesn't work. No, that's bad. Okay, let's try another picture. Sorry, this is kind of the live. Do you see me? Yes, you see me, right? Why can I not? What is going on right now? Let's go here. No, doesn't work either. Okay, that's not great right now. Let's turn this off here. Does this work? No. What the hell? I'm sorry for that. No, this doesn't work either. What? I never had that. What is going on right now? Why can't I move sideways? Let's rotate this. And then, oh yeah, let's go like this. Okay, so you can see here, we have this normal picture. This is... What? What is going on here? I'm sorry. Never had these problems. This is a little bit overexposed here. I can see I can zoom out. And that's a crazy thing about the 360 camera, why I really, really love. I should also do a video about the 360 camera at some point. Not next week, but at some point. That you can do stuff like that, where you feel like it looks like really you're a frog and you look out of the grass and you see all the stuff around. And it's super immersive and very fluid, and then you can also do stuff like this, which I absolutely love. See, this is me up here, so you can do pictures like that, which is very amazing. And even like this, you see, now I'm sitting down here and I have the reflection up here, basically on top of me. So that is really, really crazy. Look at that. And you can, of course, export this. And also the software that you get with the GoPro, you can have different formats. So for example, you can say like this or like this for Instagram, stuff like that. So you can export it already in the right format. This is something I really love about that software too, where I know, okay, this is how it's going to look on Instagram. And then I can edit it a little bit more on Affinity Photo, for example, right? And you can also go the other way if you want to, like this. And so we have a micro world where I sit here with the tree over there. And yeah, this is the craziness. This is the GoPro Max, not the GoPro 10. Don't mix them up. The different kind of camera. Yeah. So that's also pretty crazy. And I want to do some more of these photos too. Right. Okay. Anyways, let's go and start the editing of the someone sent a message. Anyways, of the composite, right? Let's do that. So I found 2 pictures I really like. I'm not sure if I downloaded them yet. There's my folder. Let's see, where could they be? I should make a new folder maybe and download them again. I have too much stuff. Yeah, let's make a new folder here. New folder. Let's put some zeros at the front so I can see it easier. There we go. Okay, cool. So let's go here. And then I have to open up a new window. And then I had this photo here, I think. Yes, this is one of them. Let's download that. Oh, no, I didn't download it there. Okay. Then we have here this folder and that folder. Put it in here. And then I also had this image here. That looks good. And then I also had this image here as an alternative. So I want to play around with that. By the way, next week, no, wait a second. Next week, am I here next week? Because I'm going to travel a little bit to make a photo project, by the way. Yes, next week I'm here. I'm going to do a Halloween stream, right? To make a really nice, scary scene for you. I have to figure out what to do specifically, but I think it's going to be really interesting. Let me find the pictures again. These millions of folders. It's gonna be a little bit overwhelming. Should we drag the other ones? Let's just place them. It's easier right now. Let's go here, place. Let's take both of them. Let's just put them in here. What just happened? Oh no, that's okay. That's okay. Perfect. Where's the live chat? There's the live chat. When will you? Oh, okay. Odd. You don't control it. I used a different email. Oh, okay. Yeah, that might be the problem, right? When you pay and then have a different email than the payment email, that might confuse the tool. That's true. All right. So that's a good solution. Okay, cool. All right, there we go. Good. And I really hope you check out that online course, because I think it's such a great way to learn about photo editing. Because the main problem that most people do is when they edit photos that they do too much. They have a too big project, and then it just they can't like handle all the things they want to put in there. And with the micro world, it's just such a controlled environment that it is really easy to put things together, have them look good, and at the same time understand how the things work that you have done at that point, right? That is the most important part about learning, is that you actually understand what you're doing and why it has that effect. And the micro world is a really good way to get that understanding, right? All right, so I thought I want to put that person in here because that forest looks a little bit like it looks really cool. It looks a little bit spooky. So I thought that could be really cool to put that astronaut there. And the way that she's standing a little bit like, how can I say? Emotionless, apathic, stuff like that. So I thought that's kind of interesting. I like the combination of that forest, and this is kind of like has a little bit of this kind of Netflix vibe, right? Okay, let's do that. Oh, also some coffee. Cheers. With my big cup. My big cup is back. There we go. All right. Okay. So let me see. We need to have here the selection brush. Let's do a selection here of her. Good. By the way, I'm still pondering with my live stream because there is often you have I think on YouTube or social media in general sets unrealistic ideas of how creative work is actually working, right? Because most people will only show you like the process once they've figured out the process, and then always it looks like super fast and like they are super decisive about the things that they're doing, and that gives you kind of a wrong impression. So I'm always kind of pondering about should I show you the creative process too, or just the execution? Because most people will only show you the execution, because of course the creative process is slower, of course, and it's it includes a lot of failure, a lot of trial and error, a lot of like trying out if things work or not, and that is completely normal. Everybody is doing that, but most people are not going to show you that because they want you to just see the cool finished element, right? The finished product. So they prepare everything beforehand, and then they're gonna do a live stream where it looks like they make these super cool decisions on a whim, like just like boom, boom, bam, and they have a really cool work put together. So but I think it might give you a unrealistic image of how the process actually works. So often I also show the process, but then of course it's really slow. It takes a little bit of time, and people might get bored through that. So it's a little bit, yeah. Why is Affinity Photo sometimes not really picking up that stuff here? I mean, the contrast here, I feel like it's sufficiently high, but yet it's not really taking my hints, not picking up what I'm putting down. I love that saying. Here again, it doesn't work. Okay, let's forget about that and just do it by hand. I feel that's like the better solution here. Let's make here selection and then just brush it in, which again, this is kind of a boring, slow process. I can do that beforehand, but at the same time, I feel like, I don't know. And lately there's a lot of talk about social media giving people the wrong impression about how things are, which of course, I mean, it's part of the business at one hand, and at the same time, kind of understand that. But like, for example, if you go to a movie, they're not going to show you Superman sitting on the toilet or making his morning coffee because that's boring, or doing his taxes. They only show you the cool stuff, right? And that's also social media as a format is something where you want to see only the cool stuff and not that I don't know, the boring stuff in between where a person tries to figure out for 5 hours how to set up a camera or stuff like that, right? So both of them can be execution only would be better most of the time. Maybe, yeah, maybe. But then you don't learn about the creative process, right? And I think that's what most people have a problem with, is not the execution, sometimes execution, but the creativity is more difficult to get than the process, because the process you can learn, and it's just something that, well, is a process basically, right? It doesn't need the mind so much, right? This is why also machines can do it, right? This is why an app can do that process for you, because it doesn't include any kind of, or not much creative act. So, yeah. Okay, let's just paint this in here a little bit. This is, I'm not sure if I should take this part here or not. So what's the other one? Absolutely should keep showing the whole process. So there's different opinions. That's also interesting. Let's cut this stuff here out. And then maybe I should also talk more about the process, right? Why am I deciding to... What? What just happened? Oh, okay. I was confused, but that was just the brush. Why is the brush so big? Oh, because it's a eraser brush. Okay, I understand. I think we can leave that. Oh, this is messed up here. Okay, that's not good. We have to fix that. Whoa, what is this? Let me see what is going on here. Oh, that's interesting. Why is this so bright? We have to check on the full picture after I have... Oh, wait a second. There's more here. The shoe is going on. What the hell is this? Huh? Oh, it's overexposed. Oh, it's overexposed. Interesting. Didn't expect that. Let's paint this in here and then remove it again. There we go. Oh, by the way, I had another topic for today also, because one of my followers wrote me a comment about the new online course. Said, "Oh, I don't have a job right now. I don't have money right now. I'm in a bad spot, so I really can't afford that at the moment." And I think a lot of people, like especially with Corona, have this kind of situation. But I feel also in general that for a lot of people, it's always a difficult situation, right? And I thought this would also be a good opportunity to talk about that for a second, maybe. So one thing, I think, because I don't know how to phrase that the right way, so don't get me wrong. Whoops, that's not the right one. I don't think we learn in school how to actually do like make our own money, because most people actually in the school, you are specifically trained to get a job afterwards, and the schools want that for you. This is why you don't learn how to build your own company or do your own, do all this kind of planning that is involved in building up a company. And I know that because schools actually told me that, because I was like, hey, I can teach people how to do their own stuff. And they're like, no. We want people to be employed. Because we have obligations towards bigger companies, that we bring them good, fully working employees and not people who say, yeah, I'm going to build my own business, right? So I think that the biggest thing to keep in mind is that there is always something you can sell. And it doesn't have to be a great skill or anything, because people usually pay for convenience, right? This is the main product in any kind of situation, is the convenience that people want out of the product, because often they can do it themselves. Think about, for example, coffee. Everybody of us has bought coffee or any kind of other beverage that you can cook for yourself. It does take zero skill to make a cup of coffee, and yet that's $1 billion business to make coffee. So from that alone, you can see that there's always a situation where you can just think about, what could I do? What is in my neighborhood that I could sell to people? What is a service that they can help them with, right? There's a lot of different things. If you're able to walk, you can walk dogs, you can go shopping for people, you can, I don't know, a lot of different things include walking, right? You can bring stuff for them to the post office because other people have problems with walking, like older people, stuff like that, right? So just think about that. And this is actually something I did, like not really dog walking, but I walked at the beginning when I didn't really have money. I was just walking door to door to different shops and said, hey, do you need something? Do you need a design? Do you need a website? And I found customers like that. And it's completely okay when you take, like, let's say you have a full work week, which is like 5 days, let's say, or 6 days, and you take 2 or 3 days where you just walk around all day long and talk to different people and try to get contracts, right? And over time, you need to walk less because you find your customers. So that's always an option, right? But often we don't think about that, and we feel like we're in a situation where we have to wait for the next job opportunity to open up, while around you there's a million opportunities to make money on the side on your own, right? And you can also connect that, right? This is also something I found a lot of people are not taking into consideration. How can I connect one skill to the next skill, especially as a creative, right? So let's say you start with dog walking, right? Sorry, by the way, I should look on the... They definitely don't teach financial literacy in school. Yes, absolutely. And they don't teach how to build business, how to interact with customers, what a customer is, what a product is, right? What a value, how is value produced, right? A lot of people think value has anything to do with the quality of the product and with the work that's going into the product, which is nonsense. The price has nothing to do with that. The price has only to do with the expectation of the customer towards the product, not with anything of the value of the product. And the best example for that is water. We have all in our lives bought bottled water. Usually, I mean, at least in my city, water is kind of free. It's like super cheap. You don't need bottled water. In some cities, I know you need bottled water, but there is no difference between one water and the next water. It's all just water. It's all just the same chemical thing, right, that you're buying. And yet you have high-class brand waters, and you have like really cheap waters where a liter costs like 10 cents or something like that, right, including the plastic bottle, which is completely like crazy. So the price rarely has anything to do with the product itself, right? So what were you talking about right now? Yeah, the financials thing. So just think about what is the thing that you could offer to people? And there's a million things you can offer to people just by being you, right? Which, this is for that picture, right? Okay. Oh, cool. That looks already pretty nice. Wow. I'm not sure if you like that kind of work, but I'm pretty impressed by that. That's really cool. Very nice. I think we need some fog for that too. Yeah, and so I was just walking around and asking people, what do they need? Oh, I know what I was talking about, and that is connecting things. That is thinking one step ahead, right? The next step. Think about what is the next thing you could do. And I find that a lot of people also lack that kind of ability because they have never been trained in that way, and because things that might be obvious for some people are completely not obvious for a lot of other people. And that's completely normal because we all have a kind of vision on how we go through the day. And this is just not included in most of the people's awareness, right? That's completely okay. It doesn't have anything to do with how smart you are or how skilled you are or anything like that. It's just like what kind of vision you have on the world, right? That's the only thing. And so, for example, for me, it's very easy to think, okay, I start with dog walking. What else can I do? I have a smartphone. I could take dog pictures while I'm on the walk, and then I can show it to the customers and say, hey, look at these pictures. I spend a lot of time with your dog. I can take cool pictures of them. Do you want to buy them? I could maybe also make a little bit of a design around them, right? And maybe you can send this to your family, or you can have a dog birthday with these kind of cool things, stuff like that. So you have a second product or a second service right out of the box, right? You can take with your smartphone, right? So this is kind of the things where you kind of try to expand that kind of idea and think, what kind of other skills do I have? And again, it doesn't have to be a skill. You don't have to be an amazing photographer to take photos that the dog owner is going to like, because you basically like every kind of picture of your own dog or your own cat, because it's always like, oh, that's my dog, especially if they do something cute, right? They drink a little bit of water, they run behind a ball or something like that. Always cute. All right, let's go on here. With the editing before I get sucked up with my talking here. By the way, we should crop this in an Instagram usable format, which is 4:5. We have 5:4 here. Let's rotate this. Now it's 4:5. That's good. Let's make this a little bit bigger. And so you just go step by step, right? You say, okay, this could be a product, and you just try it out. You just promote it to a customer and see, are they interested? Do they like that? Is it something? And then, of course, it's also asking the customers. This is a lot of the process, just asking them, is this something you might be interested? Is this a problem you have, or something like that? And then they will just tell you what they need. That is the best thing ever. You just listen to people and they tell you, well, I could like use someone for this and this kind of thing. And you say, yeah, I could do that. Why not? Okay, there we go. Let's do that. What kind of price range would you imagine for this kind of thing? What kind of thing, how much would you pay for that to help you, right? How much would it save you on the other side, right? What kind of thing is it worth to you, right? And again, the price range has nothing to do with the product on its own. Like think, for example, if you meet a friend to talk to them, that's for free. But if you go to a therapist, it's like 90 or 100 euros per hour, I think. It's kind of the same thing. You talk and then you find out about your own problems by talking. So you don't, of course, you can't promote yourself as a therapist, of course, because you're not a professional therapist. But you can say, hey, I have time, I can listen. You're a lonely person, I can come by, we talk for an hour or two, you pay me, I don't know, 30 bucks, and we're good. And you have made 30 bucks in an hour. Boom, just like that, right? For listening to someone. That's a great job, right? A lot of people have a lot harder job than to listen to someone. So there's a lot of ideas out there, right? Okay, let's do some editing here. I think we need some fog here next. Let me open this up. So think about these kind of possibilities that are out there. This is the only thing that I'm saying. Don't feel stuck at any point in your life. Just think about what kind of things could I do at that moment, right? Okay, fog, there we go. It's also a great picture here. There's so many great photos. Oh, nice. That city. But I need just fog. No. Maybe I should go to free pick and have a fog picture there. Wasn't this kind of easier? Maybe cloud? Smoke. Let's look for smoke. That might be better. Ooh, I like this one here. That could be a thing, right? It's not really like a foggy smoke. It's more like a smoky smoke. But anyways, that's kind of interesting. All right. By the way, what does the chat say? And let me know if I missed some. Are you going to do a Q&A in the future? Well, every stream is a Q&A. You can just ask me in the stream. This is actually what the idea is, but most people don't ask me anything. Because I talk so much, probably. I'm talking too much, and yeah. But this, yeah, just ask me stuff during the live stream. That's the Q&A right here, right now. I have to find the folder again. Let's close this. We don't need that. Let's put this in here. And then we need to make some interesting atmosphere here. Let's see. Lighten. You should flip the astronaut horizontally because of the lighting. Yes, I thought about that too, that this is not the right light right now. Just trying to figure out how to make this more... Okay, we have to play around with that fog. You're right, let's flip the astronaut first. Turn this off. Then rasterize and trim, so we reduce everything else. You can see now it's just the astronaut. We see that by these handles here. And then let's flip that and see if that's better. Is that better? Yes, it is, because if you look here in the background, you see that the light is coming from here, from the left side. And here it's also coming from the left side, so that's actually better. Okay, awesome. So let's turn on the fog again. And then let's see what we can do with this. We can maybe make multiple copies, but we have to figure out a better way to... This looks better here. We have to clean up the face a little bit because there's too much... Yeah, that's nice. We need to adjust the color atmosphere of everything. Yeah, maybe let's do a rough version of adjusting the color here right now. Let's maybe make everything a little bit darker. And then I thought like a night blue situation. This is green, we don't need that. Yeah, that's a lot better. I need to readjust the face because I want to see more of the face in here. But it's actually kind of nice. Yeah, that's a good starting point. We still need to do some adjustments. I think, by the way, I want to make these bright spots darker. No, that's not the way I want it. Don't do that. Come on. There you go. Let's pull this down a little bit. Oh, yeah. The background, it's good for the background. Maybe we undo this here because it's not so great for the astronaut. There we go. Let's make a second one just for the background. Green bounce light on the right side would help. A green bounce. Okay, that's a good idea. Yes, we can do that. Yeah, I have to integrate the light situation better anyways. But this is starting to look interesting. Should we make this darker or softer? Maybe a little bit darker. That's better, okay. And I think I want to have more of this ground visible. But this is starting to look pretty nice, I would say. Okay, I want to have some of the fog behind her. That's actually a lot better. And then just a little bit of fog in front of her. So let's duplicate this. And then I want to push this up here. And then I will duplicate the layer of her, put it on top, and then mask to below. Like so. And so now when I reduce this, I can have a little bit of fog on her. We can actually put this in a different position. Let me see. There's locked children here. Something is wrong right now. Oh no, it's actually working. That's good. But not really. What is going on here right now? 1 second. Let's do this a little bit differently. This is the fog. Yes, let's put this in a group and then make mask to below on the group. And then I still have this and I can move this around. So that's nice. And then maybe make this a little bit smaller. Yeah, kind of. Feel like, yeah, that's better. Like this maybe, right? Okay, cool. We still have to adjust the light, but I'm already kind of happy with that. All right, did I miss something? Let me read some comments before we progress here. You don't control. Okay, I've already read that. Keep the whole process. I agree. Keep showing the whole process. I think people have to find that themselves. You need what? Oh, the creative process. Kind of. You have to find it yourself, but I think you find it best by watching other people in what they do and how they think about a process, right? Because then you don't have to figure everything out for yourself, because that's the hardest thing. And you also see that people learn a lot faster if they have a good teacher that explains to them how to do that. I'm not talking about me right now. I'm talking about people, for example, they are really good, let's say musicians or actors or artists or stuff like that, and then they study with someone who is really, really good in that field. They can learn so much from just like interacting with that person, much better than just another normal person teaching them the techniques, because they also give you an insight into the process behind that, right? So yeah. And this is also why I like to read biographies and stuff like that about famous, successful people, to look into their mind and see how do they think about things? What kind of perspective do they have on the world? What kind of different viewpoints or kind of, how do I say, sources of inspiration? No, it's not like that. Perspective is still the best way to describe this, right? To see... Like, for example, what is a photography? If you look at different photographers, you can look at the photography but still not understand what is going on. But if you listen to them, what they tell you about their photo process, you understand a lot about what is going into their picture, right? Yeah, so I think that's a really important process still. You don't have to copy that. It's just an inspiration, a starting point, a kind of... tool that you can use or not, that you can select from, or like a spice. Let's say it's more of a spice than a tool. They definitely don't teach financial... I have already read that. That's not how therapy works, by the way. Yes, that's what I said. It's not how therapy works, the therapist, but for most people, just talking about the problem solves a lot of the problem, right? Because you hear yourself talking about that, and by that you realize what's actually going on in your mind, right? So that helps a lot to talk about that. This is also what when people, for example, when my friends have problems with depression, I always tell them to talk to other people about that in their friend or family circle, because that helps a lot, which I know from my own experience. Eating up the problem is the worst thing you can do. Just talking to anyone who will listen gives you the opportunity to depressurize, basically, right? Because you get it out of your head. Okay, anyways, but I'm not a therapist either, so don't ask me. You should flip the... Okay, I already read that. The green bounce, yes, I wonder if the astronaut is not too big. Is he too big? Maybe. We have to figure that out. You don't reinvent the wheel. Learning fundamentals from others is important and faster. Yes, that's true also. Yes. Especially fundamentals, but also concepts of art. And you can see this also in art history. There are two very important factors that absolutely change the minds of people and reinvent art over time. One is technology, which has a I think technology is actually the biggest factor in changing how people think about the world. But then also, of course, philosophy or the thoughts of other people is how people change the views about their world. Because it's really extremely hard to figure things out, even if they are right in front of your nose. Understanding how they are different or why they are important is very, very hard. Sometimes takes 1 or 2 generations to come from a technique that is there to an actual understanding of what this technique is or this kind of thing is, right? It takes a long time. And technology, of course, often gives you new abilities to interact with the world and to see the world. So this is why this gives such a dramatic change. For example, how photography has changed painting, for example, right? Or a lot of other things, right? Or think about slow motion, right? If you think about the Matrix movie, I don't think you have been able to imagine how water, when it's falling from the sky, looks in slow motion when it's raining on the street. But now you have seen it in the movie. Everybody can just stop time in their mind and see a street and the rain is just hanging there in the air because you know how it looks. You see, just from that, or like turning a camera around the person that's standing in front of you, you can just in your mind stop time and just look at the person from the side side because you now know how that looks. And before it was really hard to imagine that, right? For example, a jumping motion or stuff like that, right? So technology has a very, very high impact on that. And that's, of course, how art is then also changing. And this is also why you have art then staying the same for a long time. Of course, now these cycles are getting a lot faster because technology is upgrading a lot faster and it's reinventing itself a lot faster, right? Okay, let's go on here and do some more stuff. So green light from the side is actually a good idea. Also the size, and also we have to do something about this down here. What is the stream time? Oh, we are not even at an hour. That we are still good. By the way, I have some stuff here that's not good. So we have to fix that. This is from here, so I need to delete that. Let's do this real quick. Let me see, hardness. Oh, this has the assistant has added a mask. Oh, thank you, assistant. Okay, good, nice. That's nice. Yeah, so these kind of are big factors, and so looking into someone else's mind is a really, really good way to understand just what is going on, right? To see certain concepts that are going on in the world. You can also see that with companies, right? Like if the leading figure, for example, is going away, the person with the vision, suddenly the company can't do the stuff, even they have like the best people in the world working on the ideas and the concept and stuff like that. They just can't figure out what's going to be big next, what's going to be interesting next, because there is... It's just a huge difference between being good at something and having a vision about something, or like having a good understanding of what's going to happen, right? Why things connect to each other, right? So yeah, which, by the way, in photography I feel you see this specifically well, because you have a lot of photographers who are technically really good, but they are just not artists. So they are actually kind of more cameraman. And this is in photography, the interesting thing is that you have kind of this independent world where you have people who are basically cameramen, but they do photography because this is the only thing in that situation that's required, right? For example, these kind of studio portraits that you get in these like city studios where you have a photo of your baby or something. There are super skilled people, but most of them, they just know how to take a photo in a nice way, but they are not artists in that way. And there's a huge difference between that. And so you often see that there's very, very skilled photographers, but they're not artists. And then there's others who are artists, maybe not good photographers, but they do really cool works, right? So yeah. In film, it's more split up between the cameraman and the artist, like the how do you say, the director, right? So it's a little bit more like different jobs, right? Which is interesting. Anyways, the green light. We forgot about the green light. Let's do this real quick here. Let's make a mask here. So I make a mask because I have already selected that astronaut, and then I can simply click on that by holding Control. I click on that. This is making a selection of just the astronaut, and then I can create, for example, a new adjustment here for curves. And as you can see, this already has the mask on that. So now I can, for example, adjust the astronaut and just the astronaut. So that's really nice to be able to do that. Although I can't remember what I wanted to do. I think I wanted to do the green light, right? A little bit like this, but only on one side, right? So we can reduce that. I think I should have done this a little bit differently. So let's delete that layer again here and then make a normal curves layer and just make it green like so. I think that's okay. Good. Then invert that. Invert layer, that's good. And now we make the selection because now I can paint on that and then just touch the astronaut and not the rest of that, right? Okay. Why is nothing happening here? Oh, I have the wrong color. Okay, good. So let's see what we can do with that. We need hardness. Let's take this to 0. And then let's see, we have this tree over here and over there. So let's just put some stuff here. like that. Maybe reduce the opacity, that would be a good idea. Like so. So we have a little bit of light coming here from that side. I think we can reduce this a little bit on the hand because of the dark skin. I don't think there is that much light reflecting. So let's take this away here a little bit. Also, we have a higher contrast then, so that's nice. Okay, good. So we have that. Let's see. Yeah, not too bad. It's a good starting point. Okay, let's go on here and do some adjustment for the astronaut with the light. This time, let me think. I think I'm going... Should I do it the same way? Yes, I do it the same way. Let's do another curve adjustment here and then bring down the brightness. Let's go like this. Yeah, let's go like this. And then I invert this again. Invert. And then select. And then I can paint this on here. Let me see. Make this really big. Because I only want to paint it on the lower part. That was maybe a little bit too much here. On the upper part, let's remove that again. There we go. And I think we will do a second adjustment on the... What's happening? Oh, okay. Why is this getting brighter? I recently have the problem in Affinity Photo that this is not picking up the color that I'm creating here. Blend mode is normal, opacity is okay, hardness is okay. Let me adjust these here. Let me see, is this working now? No, it's not working. I don't know why. Oh, because I'm going the wrong way. I'm an idiot. Okay, let's push this again here. Let's see. Yeah, this is mainly touching the lower part of her, so that's good. And this is still too bright down here. We have to figure that out. But I want to do a little bit up here first, so let's make another curve adjustment here. Play around with that. And by the way, I think you wanted to ask some questions, right? So please do that. Feel free. Q&A all day. All right. What's the time, by the way? Let's see. 1 hour and 4 minutes. We are still good. We are still good. There we go. Let's make this a little bit brighter up here. Yeah, I feel like that's pretty okay. Again, let's mask this. Oh no, wait a second. Invert that and then mask this and then paint on that. That should be the right one, right? Yeah. Okay, and then make this a little bit smaller here. I'm using the Tool Gear Toolbox. Yes, this little controller to adjust my brightness, my size of the brush size, in case you're wondering what's going on. This is how I do that. Toolbox, not Toolbox. Toolbox is what it's called. It's a little gadget that you have in your table, and then you just adjust the... Well, you can adjust all kinds of things with that. I made a video about that. Did I make? I think I made a video about that. I feel like I'm going crazy sometimes. Because I did so many videos already. It's crazy. It's like I did hundreds of videos. You know, that's crazy. Over the years, I've created easily over 300 videos. Closer to 400 videos. And then not even counting the live stream. So sometimes I just don't remember what I have already created. There we go. Now it looks like she's like floating. Oh, because she doesn't have a shadow. I think we need the shadow here in the foreground, but also make that full foreground here a little bit darker. But I think the scene is coming together really nicely. I'm really happy, to be honest. Let's make this here a little bit darker. And then let's make another level here. Not a level, sorry. We actually don't need that. Let's close this again. I think I'm gonna use a rectangle for that. Let's do it like this. Of course, in front of her feet, that would be a good idea. There we go. What is this? Oh, no, behind her feet. I'm stupid. There we go. Okay, let's make this black. Boom, like that. And then right click and convert to curves. Use my good old node tool. And then we're gonna just stretch this out here like so and see if we can make a nice shadow with that or not. Let's see. Let me figure that out real quick. Yeah, not too shabby. Let's do a little bit Gaussian blur here. Boom, a little bit more. How is that for a shadow? Is that okay? Maybe a little bit less blurriness, like so. And then we can also make it a bit transparent here, like so. Maybe that is not too bad. Let's see. I think we also need to have some darkness here on the shoe. Just a little bit too much action on the shoe right now from the light. Let's go like this. I should actually zoom out here a little bit so we have a better view of if that shadow makes sense or not. Okay. I feel like this shadow should be a dark blue. Maybe let me sample a color here and see how that looks. What kind of color do we have here? That is nice, but it's too bright. So let's go here to HSL. And there we have luminosity, as you can see, which is the brightness. I can tone that down a little bit. And so we can make it like this. And then, let's copy this over. There we have our hex slider here, hex. And you can simply copy the hex code over to this side and then push this in here. There we go. And then maybe multiply over here too. And then let's go to the shoes, make a selection here, make another layer, shoe. I'm not sure if I wrote shoe the right way, but anyways, there we go. Make this a little bit smaller here. Make this nice and dark. Yeah, it's much better. It's actually pretty cool. But now the shadows are kind of not dark enough. So let's go like this, and then here go like this. Oh, that's the wrong one. What am I doing here? Sorry, there we go. And I think I'm going to delete a little bit of the shoes so they blend directly into the shadow. Is this actually happening? I think. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Okay, cool. There's some light coming onto her face from the left side, but I mean, there's some light here too. Can Affinity Photo be like Lightroom for editing many photos? No, not really, because it's not built for that. Affinity Photo is an editing software and Lightroom is an adjustment software. It's a big difference because adjustment is like where you adjust the colors and stuff like that. Let me save this real quick. And editing is this kind of thing where you do these kind of adding all kinds of layers and stuff. By the way, I'm just seeing that this is not working down here. That's not good. No bueno, as they say. That's better, I guess. Okay, we need some more darkness over here, I think. Whoop, sorry. Whoop. There we go. So that's kind of a different software. You can do that with Luminar. You can do that with Photolab. These are all adjustment programs where you can copy then basically the styles over to the next picture or save as a preset, stuff like that, which Affinity Photo also can't do. You can't really do presets, like elaborate presets that consists of a lot of different adjustments in your picture. You can do macros, which are very limited. You can do individual presets for a single layer, but not for a complete thing. You can save the picture as a master file, basically, or a template, but then you can't batch adjust that with that template file, so it doesn't really have that kind of thing where you could do that in a sufficient way. So for that, I wouldn't use it in that way. And actually, to be honest, I found myself when I edit photos mostly going to Photolab and Luminar stuff, and then doing the editing in Affinity Photo, but the adjustments I do in Photolab, especially for raw editing. So yeah, but as I always say, having different tools is really a good thing to do. Don't just rely on one tool, and don't have this idea of I just want to learn how to do it with one tool, because you can't. They are built different, which is a good classic internet meme, but it's actually what happens. They are made different, so you get completely different results. And they have all their weaknesses and strengths, right? So for example, Photolab is really good at saving highlights, noise reduction, stuff like that, things where Affinity Photo is not that great in, but Affinity Photo, for example, is good at cleaning up pictures. For example, for the texture, with frequency separation, with the in-paint brush, stuff like that. Affinity Photo is really good at that, right? So there's all kinds of upsides and downsides. Yeah, and stuff like that. Luminar is good exceedingly good for sky replacement, stuff like that, if you want to do things like this. By the way, I'm doing some dodge and burn here right now, just to give it some elements a little bit more structure. And then, like right now, I'm making the shadows a little bit darker here on certain areas, not everywhere, just on certain areas. And yeah, really, just I would absolutely suggest that you download different software tools and see what they do for you, and if they help you do certain things, and really dive into them, because sometimes it's kind of hard to really grasp what they are doing when you're getting started with the software. So maybe watch some videos about that. Some companies like DxO with Nick Collection and Photolab, they do live streams where they show the skills of the software, which is very nice. Yeah. So you can learn a lot from that stuff. By the way, I kind of think I want to highlight this stuff here a little bit more. Let's see, let's put some. There we go. Yeah, pretty nice. Should we do something more here? I think I will do some light adjustment, but I'm actually super happy with this. It's kind of a simple edit, but I'm very happy with it, to be honest. All right, let's do some light adjustments here. Let's start with channel mixer. No, not channel mixer, sorry. Color balance. Sorry, graphics bar says, hi Olivia, where sell my raw file and Affinity template, and most of the marketplace want to Photoshop and Illustrator. I'm not exactly sure what you mean. Hi Olivia, where sell my raw file in Affinity template, most of the marketplace want Photoshop Illustrator file. Yeah, that is because Affinity Photo doesn't really have like a landscape yet of marketplaces where you can sell stuff, or where people are looking for that. And most people work with Photoshop, especially when it comes to templates or stuff like that, because Photoshop can do so much more in that regard than Affinity Photo can. I mean, what I did is to put it on my own like store on Gumroad, but the problem is you, of course, need someone to look at that store. If you don't have anyone looking at that store, you're not going to sell anything. So that's a little bit of a problem here. You could ask Serif, because they also have a store, but I think you have to be really good at what you're doing if you want them to take your stuff into their store. So let's take selective color next. Yeah, but you can try that, right? No problem with that. Ask them if they are interested and see what they are saying. So let's try to get some nice spooky atmosphere a little bit in here. Very nice blue. By the way, this is also something I talked so much I didn't talk about the creative processes all this time. I talked about talking about the creative process, kind of a meta discussion today. One of the interesting things with creative processes is the kind of how color speaks, because color is very similar to how musical notes work, right? And so you can, like, for example, if you look at these different kind of blues, you have this kind of teal blue, and then you have this kind of blue, which is a little bit more, how would you describe that? Fruity, a little bit more, like, not fruity in the sense of an actual fruit of a blossom, maybe, you know, more, has more material qualities to it, I think, maybe. So they have different expressions. I think this one, for example, this kind of blue here, this teal blue, it feels more lighthearted and more a little bit utopian, positive. I think this is also why you often see that with a lot of pictures that have this kind of teal orange thing. And this one here feels a little bit more darker, more desperate, maybe. So you can do a lot with the colors on what is kind of the expression of the image, what kind of situation, what kind of emotion do you want to feel the viewer, what kind of situation do you want to put the subject into with your picture, right? Which also I have to figure out right now. And by looking at other people, what they do with their pictures is good, but also maybe watching people talk about their pictures and why they make these decisions is kind of a good way to do that, right? Of course, most people don't do that, which is a downside in photography. I really think photography needs more this kind of director's, what is it called? Director's comment you have for movies, where you watch the full movies for 2 hours and they talk about why they did this and that thing. That would be good for photography, right? By the way, I should get finished here. And then you would have a good insight. Why make these kind of decisions, right? What's kind of the difference in the process that they are applying? Why is this not? Oh, this is adjusting the green. Well, now it's adjusting the green a little bit. Oh, we also have green in the helmet. Ooh. Should we put some light into the helmet? I think we should play with that a little bit. Let's play here first with the white values and the black values. Ooh, this is also a good example. You can see, like, when I move this, you can have this very white fog here in the background, and it has a different expression than this a little bit pink fog, which is more warm and is more cozy, and the white one is a little bit more spooky and harsher, right? So there's a lot of different things to take into consideration. By the way, I'm watching these videos from masterclass.com right now. I'm not affiliated with them. I just wanted to have a subscription because there's some photographers on there and other artists I really respect, and I want to see what they think about different situations. So that's a good way, because this is their tutorials are mostly not technical tutorials. They talk about their artistic perspective on things, and this is why I really enjoyed it. Also, it's surprisingly cheap to have that for a full year. I think Oh no, wait, they have an offer. They had an offer that I bought together with a friend where it's like 2 for 1. This is why it was so affordable. Usually it's a bit more expensive. Maybe they still have that. I'm not sure. You can look into that. What is did I miss something? Oh, sir, can I edit use iPad and after that I want to finish my edit on the PC or desktop? As far as I know, you can do that, yes, because it's the same kind of software and they are very similar. Like they really try to keep that software tool very similar to on iPad and on desktop. So to my knowledge, I think you can do that, but I don't have an iPad. Let's merge visible here. And then I want to basically cut out that area here. Let me see how we would do that. We could use our channels here. Is that working? Surprisingly not so good, right? Okay, different plan. Let's just paint this in as a selection here, maybe. Let's invert that. Oh, no, not invert pixels, invert layer. Okay, good. And now we're going to paint this in here a little bit. Just these kind of green values here. Oh, we have opacity is a little bit low. Let's go like this. And then see what we get from that. I'm not 100% sure how well this is going to work, but we can always try. Let's see how good that is. Let's set this to screen. Not too bad, right? Not too bad. Let's see. This is with it, without it. Down here it doesn't really work. Let's undo this in this area here. I'm pretty sure there's a smarter way to do what I'm doing right now, but also this is not completely white here. Let's make this white. Oh, that's not good. What the hell is happening? Oh, I'm painting on the picture. That's not good either. There we go. That's better. No. What? 1 second. A little bit less. And then a little bit more over here in that area. And I think we're going to blur that afterwards a little bit to get some more of a shine effect here, glow effect. Let's see down here. Let's put some more power in this corner here. I don't think that's doing anything. Oh yeah, it does a little bit. It was a little bit too much though. Let's undo this and then make the brush a little bit smaller here. Let's go like this. There we go. Let's see. Not too bad. Not too bad. Let me duplicate this real quick. Boom. Okay, and then let's blur this. The blurriness is not as effective as I thought it would be, but let's rasterize this. Now we only have that part and now blur it. No, it's equally ineffective. That's great. Okay, let's have a look here on the I mean, how much glow does it need, to be honest, right? Ooh. Let's blur this a bit more. I'm kind of confused why this blur is not starting to glow. because usually it does. One of my favorite tricks. Let me have here an outer glow real quick. Let's give me that color here. And then just see if we get something cool or not. Radius. I mean, it's not uninteresting. It gives a nice contrast to the rest of the image. So it's not too bad, right? I want to do something more. 1 second. One additional tweak here. Let me push this up. And then also add some green. Remove the blue. Also that kind of blue here. Let's see. No. 1 second. Okay, let's invert that. And then I want to try to put this on here slightly and see if this is interesting or not. And if not, we're just going to finish that. And if it is kind of a lucky element here, let's see. Nope, over here it's stupid. Almost done. 1 second. And then we do the review of the pictures. No, that's too much. Yeah, I'm kind of happy, right? I'm kind of happy with that. I feel like this bubble here is a little bit stupid, but let's leave it in. That's okay. That's nice. That gives a nice, like, distinct element that gives more attention to the face. Kind of like that. There's one more thing I want to change here, and that is down here we have this fog, and I feel like this specific fog down here is... Oh, wait a second. Can I... No, I can still do that. That's good. This part here. I feel like that's a little bit too much. Let me try to just darken that, or... let me see. Yeah, I feel that's better. We could actually make a little bit of a vignette maybe as a last step. There's always like there's always one more thing. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm just trying this and then we're gonna go to the reviews. What's the time? 1:30. Well, art needs time. That's how that works, my friends. Okay, let's go. Blur this. Let's go with 450. Oh, that's too much. Let's go with 200. It's better. Still too much though. Why? Oop. What happened? 150? No. 300? Why isn't it? Oh, I turned on the blur here. 1 second. 150. Let's go with 100. Maybe that's better. Okay, good. There we go. Let me see. All right. Done. Perfect. I'm happy. Let's finish this. What is this? There's always something you see in the last second where you're like, what? Why is this so bright? Okay, 1 second. Where's the astronaut? That's the astronaut. Let's make another layer here. Take the brush and then just dim this here a little bit, because that's kind of a, why is this finger so bright kind of thing. Can actually, I think we leave that here. And then that's a bit too much. Let's go like this. There we go. Okay, good. Let's save this. I would say I'm happy. What do you think? Let's zoom in here. Sorry for that. That wasn't my intention. So this is the picture we created today. Can you actually see what I'm doing? Yes. Okay. Ta-da! We don't have music right now. There is an outline around the astronaut I'm seeing right now. I think we're gonna fix that right now real quick. Oh, I think we can't because I did all that other stuff. I have to fix that. I mean, you don't really see it. You don't see it on Instagram. Okay, let's just say people are not going to find out about that. It's gonna be our secret. All right, let's go to Instagram real quick here. No, not that. There we go. Okay, it's review time, my friends. Review time. Is there anything else? Because for right now, I only got Affinity in my iPad. I want to buy Affinity on my PC. Just download the demo and see if that works for you. I think they have like a 14-day demo, so that should work. Okay, let's see. Olivio tutorials. So this is, I think a lot of people haven't been super happy with this kind of idea, because a lot of people said, oh, I can't take part in the challenge because I don't have Facebook. And then I thought, okay, but most people probably have Instagram, so let's have them post it on Instagram. That might be a good idea. And with the hashtag, I can actually find that. But then a lot of people said they don't have Instagram, so it kind of backfired a little bit. I'm not sure if a lot of people took part in that or not, or if they understood how to do that. Because usually, let's open this up. The hashtag is what you write over here. This is the hashtag. Maybe I should have explained it also a little bit better. But you know what? I kind of think I want to keep that, not for the weekly challenge, but as a general thing. So when you post something on Instagram, you can use the hashtag Olivio tutorials, and then I can look at it on my live stream once in a while to see the most recent pictures and look at them. And I know it's coming from my community because this is the hashtag is only relating to me. So it's not confusing that this might be for some or someone else, you know. So that is why this kind of hashtag, because like, for example, if I would make the hashtag week 40 or 2021 photography or stuff like that, everybody could use that and we will find thousands of pictures. It doesn't really match my channel. So this is why this is the name of my channel, basically. Not my channel, but like, you know what I mean. Okay, anyways, let's do the review here. We are at 1 hour 35, so that's pretty good. Okay, awesome. Good, so let's see. If your picture is not here, please let me know. And I think, you know what? I'm going to tell you this. 1 second. If you're give me a second so I can find that out here. If I don't see your picture, please post it now under the weekly challenge as an Instagram link if you don't see it here right now, because you can see it's just a couple of pictures here. This is not part of that challenge here. So it's like I don't know, 12 pictures or something. I think there should be more pictures, so I guess some people didn't really do the hashtag right or something like that. I did not take in this challenge partly because of the challenge on the change to Instagram. Yeah, so next week I will do it on Facebook again. But you can still keep posting, and then I can do a review on your Instagram, on your regular Instagram stuff, right? Not part of the challenge, but of the regular Instagram stuff that you're posting. Mm. By the way, before we start the review, also, I asked you about the name for this other channel that I created. How do you switch here? Like this. Oh, it still says vlogs here. It's not vlogs. So I actually called it Olivio Photography because I asked you what kind of name should I give my photography channel, because the other one, the main channel that I have right now, that is for these kind of edits that I do in my live streams. Sorry. Now everything is mixed up. Sorry. So, and this is more why I want to do this kind of travel or normal photography stuff that I'm doing. I can post it here. So this has a home too. And also this is a kind of new format I'm starting in 2 weeks, actually. I'm going to travel, and then I'm going to travel for a limited time, and inside of that limited time I'm visiting another city. I'm taking pictures there. I'm filming myself taking these pictures, then I'm editing the photos, and all of that is going to come one video where you see me talk about photography, taking the pictures, editing the pictures, and you see the final results. So this is kind of a process where you can see the whole thing from the start to the finished picture, and then I also post it on Instagram. So you have the whole process based on photography rather than on the photo editing. So this is a new addition that I want to do maybe once a month, for example, right? Because it's also cost intensive to travel to other cities. But I thought that's a cool thing. And I think this is also something that I can do specifically because of my location in Europe, and there's amazing cities here, right? So that's kind of maybe could be an element that gives me more of a unique point for my channel, right? So that might be a thing. Anyways, I want to try that. And also this is something I always wanted to do. So yeah, kind of a dream come through. Living my best life, I think, is what they say in English. Yeah, here's the hashtag. So let's check that out. And then I also will reload this post here once in a while to see if there is more posts here. All right, so let's have a look. We can look at the pictures. We can also look a little bit at the Instagram account on general. So that's a pretty cool photo. Very nice. Wow, even with some bokeh here in the background, little bokeh balls. Very nice. Very nice depth of field. And of course, macro photography is always kind of not so easy to do in a good way, right? So this is really nice. A thing that I would maybe take into consideration when you post that is, or when you crop that is, don't have elements too close to the border. So there is actually only two ways to handle a border. One is to decisively go over the border, and one is to stay away from the border so you have some breathing room, because if you come too close to that, it feels like a mistake, and it also the borders have some kind of magnetic qualities visually, emotionally, so the thing gets sucked into the border, and the eye is kind of drawn to that situation where I think, that shouldn't be like that. So have it a little bit more to the side, or crop it decisively so it's sticking out over the border. That would be a feedback from me. Also, another thing you can do is, of course, with macro photography, you're a little bit limited by the depth of field. But usually things look better when you photograph them a little bit on an angle, because then they have more dynamic in them. You can also do it head on, and that is a little bit more static, and you're more focused on what is going on in the picture rather than having like a dynamic, a little bit actiony kind of look in the photo. But it's an easy way to have a little bit of an angle to make pictures automatically look better. This is also something, for example, if you photograph your food or your coffee or stuff like that, a little bit of an angle on the shot makes it more interesting than just photographing the object head on like you see it with your eyes, which is also maybe why it's a little bit less interesting to do it head on, because this is how we look at things usually. And then if you have a little bit different angle, we see something we don't usually see with our eyes, right? Olivio manipulation photo. What is that? It's like a suggestion for a name for the channel. Or what? For the Instagram? No, the second one is just for photography, and like photography and adjusting of photography, and that the main channel is for these kind of edits that I do right now, but the main channel is just called Olivio Tutorials. like also my website and stuff like that. Not my YouTube channel, strangely enough, that is just my name, but these are this kind of stuff. Yeah, that's my main YouTube thing. Interesting. Okay, anyway, so that's the feedback for this one. Then we have 2 photos here. Actually, usually you can only enter 1 photo, but right now there is only 12 pictures. Is this an HDR photo, or did you edit this with the software? I'm not quite sure, but what I can tell you right away is you can see here that you have these glowing edges around the border here. So maybe this is following the video that I did about saving the, oh yeah, sorry, I'm an idiot. I have to look here at the hashtag. So this is Viveza3, and this is probably following that video where I said you can do more impressive results with Viveza, or equally impressive results with Viveza 3 than with a HDR shot. Now, what you have to look out for, this is really important, is that you, sorry, you use these selection tools for luminosity and chromacity. No, it's called chrominance, luminance and chrominance, sorry, to get a close selection to the border of the object, which is not happening here. As you can see, this is basically, by the way, this is the downside. I can scroll into this, but oh, does it? Oh, it resizes a little bit. You can't really display the picture on its own on Instagram. It's really a downside. And you can't zoom into it either on the website. You see there is this bright edge here, and this is just a selection error from the mask. So you're using the mask the wrong way. So when you go into we can actually open that up real quick. 1 second. Let me open that up. Oh, I have to go, when did I take that photo? I can't remember. Let me see. So this is October, this is September. So this is September of photography, yes. And then, oh, we have all the pictures over here. 1 second, I can show you. Let me quickly find that picture for you. There, no! What is going on? Okay, I have to... there it is. Okay, cool. I just have to find the right side. Let's take this picture here. Yes, okay, cool. And then I have to go into Viveza real quick. 1 second. Boom, there we go. Use a unique name, please. Yes. Okay, 1 second. I think I also show that in the video, by the way. But since we do the review, I'm gonna do this here again. 1 second. Let's have a look at the chat. Nothing in the chat. Okay. Come on. It's always creating a TIFF file, even if you already have a TIFF file. I wish they would check for the existence of a TIFF file. Or maybe, oh, it's already open. I'm an idiot. It's open on the second screen. Sorry for that. Okay, let's zoom in here and then go up here. And you can see we have some fine details here. So now if I make a point here in Viveza, and you have here on this right side, you can see there is the show and hide selection. So this is basically the mask. And down here you have the color selectivity, which is luminance and chrominance. Chrominance is the color, luminance is the brightness. So you can tune the mask based on these two values. And you can see here, when I adjust this, that for example, this is now going into that building here, picking up a lot of that. And if I go the other way, you can see that this makes a very like crisp selection around the building. And then also when you play around here with the chrominance, you can have some similar things, but here you can see with chrominance that this is picking up some color around that building. And this is then where that bright thing is happening, right? So when I turn off here my selection preview and then I adjust the brightness, for example, like this, you can see that I'm getting these bright borders around that. So in that case, play around with luminance and chrominance, and just you can see if I go back on this and maybe also go back on this a little bit, you can see that this will then have either less of that or none of that, right? And so with that, you can have a nice selection here where you do this over here on that part. And then, by the way, when you create now a second point on that building here, this will basically defeat what you have done with the other adjustment. Let me go over here real quick. So you can see that this is basically turning off what is happening inside of the building. So you can make a second selection here just of the building and then do the own adjustment for that. Oh, there we go. Nope. There we go. Okay, so I can say here, for example, I want to have some brightness here and some structure here and stuff like that. And you can do your own adjustments in that area. Some more warmth. Let's zoom out here and you can see, so we have these adjustments of that area here right now, right? Just one area. Of course, it looks stupid right now because it's just one area, but this is how you avoid these strange edges. Hi, Michelangelo. How you doing? Thanks for joining from the Netherlands. So that's a thing, and you often also find that in Affinity Photo with different settings. So if you have a problem like that, play around a little bit with the selections, or sometimes also with the adjustments. So for example, what I found, I should maybe also do a video about that, is when you use, for example, curves or levels or brightness or contrast, they have different impacts on what they are doing with the adjustments in the photo. And with some of these adjustments, you can't avoid this kind of glowing border or edge, glowing edge, this kind of halo around the edge. But with other adjustments, you can. For example, brightness and contrast works very different in Affinity Photo than the curve does. So you get different results with that, and you can avoid these kind of halos some of the time, right? So play around with that. And I probably also make a video about that. All right. Sorry, that's the wrong one here. Let's see. There is a second video here, second photo here. So I can't make that bigger. I did not think about that. I can make it a little bit bigger by zooming. So this one is better. It doesn't have this kind of problem with the glowing edges. Very nice. Really like that. One thing you want to maybe do in both pictures here, the colors are a little bit more adjusted than here. And this is really up to taste, but try to give the colors a specific kind of expression. Because I think this is often a huge difference between professional photos and like standard photos, let's say, is that the professional photos often have like specific, more artistic colors in them that make the scene look more interesting rather than the everyday colors. And you also have that, for example, in film and in photography and stuff like that in different pictures. If you see a scene as it has looked, by the way, there's a good example here on, I don't know what the account is called. It's kind of a travel blogger. Let's have a look here because he shows the before and after. Let's see here. Jake Rich is this name of the guy, or Jack Rich. Jake Rich. This one, Jake Rich Travels. That's the one. And let me show you real quick because sometimes he shows a before and after. No, not here. Maybe here. No. No, sorry, can't find it right now. Sometimes he shows a before and after for the photos. There he does. Well, here the difference is not very big, so that's not a good example. Maybe here he does. Yeah, a little bit. Let's zoom out here a tiny bit. There we go. So you can see this is the normal photo with the original colors, and this is the adjusted photo with the basically artistic colors, right? And you can see what kind of a huge difference that makes. It's actually a different photo also. Am I talking crap and this is actually also both adjusted in the colors? I mean, this looks a ton better. He has a second account where he shows that much better, but I don't know what the name of that account is. Oh, we can find out. Let me see. 1 second. Oh, not just colors. That's the name. Yeah, there we go. He has already had it here. So let's go, for example, maybe have a look at this photo here. Oh yeah, this is a good example. You can see this is like the everyday colors that you find, and these are the adjusted colors. And you can see, like, it's not just that the tablet here is brighter, or the tray is brighter and everything has nicer contrast. It's also that the colors are not these everyday colors. And this is the problem when you show something, especially like travel pictures or stuff like that, and you have these everyday colors. They just look like everyday. And everyday is a little bit boring, a little bit trivial, a little bit like, yeah, well, this is what we all experience. And then you have this more a dreamy world that has a bit of more distance, more positivity. It's more idealized, and this makes it a more of an experience, right? And this is what colors do. That they put a distance between the normal everyday world and the artistic vision, right? Because you are there because you like the artist, not because you like the everyday world, because you're already in the everyday world, right? But you look at art to get a second perspective on that, right? And so this is why color and these adjustments are really important, and that you kind of figure out what kind of colors you also want to use, what kind of mood do you want to create with that. And he has some great examples for that. And also I want to do, I want to follow his example a little bit with the travel photography to show that, because these are adjustments. And for most of the stuff I've done so far is editing, and adjustment is another level of interacting with photography, right? So I feel like a channel that is about photography should also be about adjustment, a little bit at least, right? And let's see how that, if you like that or not. But again, you can see here with these colors, boring everyday colors like, yeah, okay, forest. I have been in a forest. I've seen a mountain before. Meh. And then you see this, and this is like, this invokes the feeling of, I would like to be there too right now. This has this kind of feeling, and you feel like a breathing motion, right? In your body, you feel like, you can exhale or inhale or whatever. You know what I mean? So this is the huge difference between just existing and then having a passionate view on the world, right? And this in colors and these adjustments do a lot of that. Anyways, let's go back to the picture. So yeah, with these adjustments, like especially here, for example, it's nice, but it looks everyday-ish. And when you try to figure out or play a little bit around with different colors, especially if you have Nick Collection, you have all these kind of presets in there that give you a good idea on how you can edit that and how you can get different artistic views into that. And this is also why I like stuff like Nick Collection, because they give you a certain look into how these, what kind of approaches you can take towards images. And the huge difference here is, let's look on Unsplash real quick. The huge difference is when you scroll to Unsplash, of course you see all these kind of editing things, but first of all, you have no idea how they have been created, or what leads to them. And also you don't have any kind of, how can I say, you don't necessarily understand that this is a specific approach that is different from another approach. Like, for example, if you take these two pictures here, look at this one and look at that one. Could you really tell that this is a different approach, or would you say, well, they just played around and they just made it look like that, and that's that? But that's not it. The artistic approach is often very specific and has a lot of thoughts behind that. So you might think, well, this is kind of the same thing. It's kind of similar. It's kind of meh. But the thought process behind that and how to reach, to come from the picture to that solution, that artistic solution, that is what actually the artistic process is. And that's difficult, right? And these kind of tools like Nick Collection, they give you this kind of inside view, because they show you what kind of filters have been used, how they make the adjustments, stuff like that. So that's really, really interesting. And also when I do these kind of videos, for example, I could imagine that I do also courses about that, where I talk about these things in an online course and show how I took the photo, why I took this kind of specific perspective, and why I did that specific adjustment for that kind of picture, right? How everything comes together. So I think that makes a lot of sense, but let's see if that works or not. Okay, let's go. What's the comment saying? Oh, it's just my chatbot. Okay, use the chat. Ask me something, please. Come on. By the way, here you see a good example of having a little bit of a side perspective, because this is not how we look at the world in an everyday situation. So this instantly makes it more interesting. Also, of course, in this case, with this macro photography, because of the depth of field, you're bringing attention to a very small slice of that area. Because if you would photograph that from the top, a lot more parts would be sharp and in focus and grab your attention, but now you're only looking at that thin line, and then you have this single mushroom here. And so this is very well defined from what do I want to show you? What is the idea here, right? And also this whimsical element that this mushroom is so tiny compared to the already very small moss is really nice and playful. There's actually a really cool shot also from the color editing, and that there's a little bit of light shining here into the shot. Really nice. Thank you very much, Miss Mo. Okay, interesting. Yeah, so that's really cool. Great. Go on doing that. Really, really cool. The other, sorry, I didn't say the names of the other people here. So this is from Sharon. Thank you very much for that picture. And the other twos have been from MD Photos. Thank you very much for that too. All right, let's go on here. This is actually great, so I don't have any more feedback for that. This is from Peter. Hi, thank you for sending a photo and being part of that hashtag process. Oh, there we have a before and after. Interesting. Okay. That's nice. So, Don't get me wrong, but I have to say I kind of like this shot better before it was edited, because the editing brings everything so close together that it's really hard to figure out where you're supposed to look at. Because in the original shot without the editing, you have these bright parts and you have more colors in these parts, while the other two parts are darker and have less color. So I know I'm supposed to look at the middle part, and this is probably about the building. But here, because the building has become like, it has less color, I feel like it's darker, while the shadows here on the side and here on the side have become brighter and have more information. So the whole picture has become a lot more noisy. It's not so clear anymore that this is about the building in the background, right? So I would rather, I don't know, I would rather go with this and maybe enhance this a little bit more, right? So for example, you could make this side even darker a little bit, and give a little bit more attention maybe to the building in the middle. You could also maybe make these sides a little bit blurred, possibly, so the people look more at that building in the background, right? Because you can see here, this has become rather flat and a lot more noisy. You see how a lot of information here is sucked up in these dark parts and also over here in the dark parts, while here they have come to attention, and now you kind of want to look at them, right? Because there is something in these shadows and also over here. So, yeah. Hi, Olivia. Simon Charles, Huntington, UK. I have joined late, but will rewatch the stream. Hi, Simon. Thanks for joining. That's awesome. Yeah, we did a really cool edit today. I think you will like that. And also some other interesting talks at the beginning. Again, about the GoPro a little bit, which I really love. I have to say, I really like GoPro as a camera and as a brand, to be honest. Both of them. It's really cool. Okay, let's go on here. All right, what's going on here? So this is from Chilrania 1. I just say Jill. Sorry, I'm really bad at reading these names. Okay, so we have a lot of characters here. There's SpongeBob here, and there is he called Scrat? I think he's called Scrat, right? From Ice Age. Oh, there's the tiger from Ice Age and the elephant. Oh, and the guy, I don't know what his name is. And Homer Simpson is down here. Pretty cool. Again, I would maybe suggest to take a different angle, and also with the editing, like maybe brighten up the shadows here a little bit and give a little bit more contrast to these elements so you see them better if possible. Especially if you have a raw picture, then you can do a lot of brightening up in the shadows. But also, I feel here like this is like you give an overview, but you don't really have a focus on anything in the picture because everything's like spread out over all of the picture. Some characters are a little bit cut off here on the corners, stuff like that. So if you would, for example, go down with the camera and capture this little detail of Homer, and then there is this plant over his head hanging there, unless you did you edit this afterwards, because I don't see a shadow of that plant, but that, for example, could be a nice thing, right? And what you have seen me do with this picture I showed you at the beginning, I don't know where I have that right now. 1 second. No? Oh God, I have so much stuff. 1 second. Photos, yes. 21, 10. I took it on the first day. There we go. So with this picture here, so the purpose of surrounding the object with something in the foreground, first of all, as you can see, it gives an extra layer, and the layer gives more depth to the picture. So it's less just a 3D shot and more a scene you can go into, you can feel yourself into. The second part of that is if you have, for example, like in this case, some foliage in the foreground, you have the benefit that this is emotionally something where you feel, first of all, the camera is becoming subjective rather than objective. The big difference is that an objective camera is a camera that is basically not there and you just see the picture undisturbed. The world is just there, basically. That is the objective camera. It's just a machine. And the subjective camera is giving you the opportunity to feel like you're looking through your own eyes, which is what makes it subject, because you are the subject in that situation, right? Which you also have in film, for example, where you have an objective camera. Is if you, for example, see there's a car chase and you see the camera on the side, for example, on the standing on the side of the road, and the cars are just rushing by. That's an objective camera. When you see it inside of the car from the view of the driver, that is a subjective camera where you feel like you're driving the car, right? And so this is what's happening also here, that you have kind of the feeling that you're looking through that. So this connects you to the picture, and also you feel like you are discovering something. You're the explorer. You have this kind of awe moment where you just find something really cool. And you can feel yourself pushing these tweaks to the side and just finding that cool building somewhere in the city. It's a different feeling than rather just seeing a building that is just standing there on its own, right? Yeah, so you can do that. And for example, if you put this in between or like around Homer here in the foreground and have like an angle from the side and concentrate the picture just on him, the viewer can concentrate just on one figure, and you have a little bit of this kind of subjective camera also in there. And I think it's more interesting to just single out one figure, and then you can also take pictures of the other figures if you want to, while here everything is a little bit mushed together. And it's a lot of everything and not much of something specific to look at, right? So it's just too much to take in at that moment, right? So I would rather go with an individual element of that whole scene, right? Okay, let's go on with the next points here, with the next pictures. Thank you very much, Chill. The next is from Erich. Hi, Erich. Thank you. Always the first in my streams. Thank you for that. All right, let's have a look here. So this is a very dark shot. Did you take that with a cell phone maybe, or something, with a smartphone? Very intense colors. It's a nice shot as the photo itself, but I feel like from the editing is so intense that it takes away the softness of a sunset, right? Or a sunrise. I think it's a sunset. I'm not sure. So this is also something to take into consideration when you edit a photo. Think about the quality of the situation that you're photographing, right? Is it soft? Is it hard? Is it an action situation, or is it more like a slow what's the opposite of action? A relaxed situation, a slow situation, right? So if you think about that, you can also decide about how strong should be the contrast, how strong should be the colors, how strong should be the structure of the surfaces that I'm editing, right? So for example, if you have a high contrast and high structure, it's very intense, it's very powerful. You can have a shot that has more drama in it, has more action in it, stuff like that. And when you go the opposite, when you reduce the contrast, you make softer colors, everything comes down and is very calm and slower from the situation, right? It's the wrong word, slow. I don't know what the right word is right now. And so with the sunset, I think you want to go rather that kind of route where everything is kind of soft and dreamy rather than this kind of harsh, powerful editing right now. This is more kind of an action scene kind of editing. You would maybe have this for a sports shot or something where something action-like is happening rather than this. So let's have a look here in Unsplash real quick. Why is always this popping up? Sunset. There we go. Yeah, you can see here, for example, here we have some rather dreamy, soft edits like this. And that just brings out this kind of soft, sleepy, dreamy quality that we have when we look at sunsets. Some, of course, have these more intense colors, but still most of the elements are soft here. You have a soft fog here and stuff like that. And when it gets too harsh, like, for example, this is, I don't know, it's a little bit too intense, right? It's a little bit like a punch in the face. The sun is just hitting you in the face as the last action of the day. So it's a bit too much, maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe you like that, but I feel like it's a little bit too harsh, maybe. For a sunset, should be a bit softer. And then let's see. Do we have here sports or action or something? Yeah, something like this, maybe. Not that is a great edit, but are there any nice edits here for sports? Well, I can't really find any right now. But here maybe like this or something, or I don't know. Anyways, this is not a great edit. Let's forget about that. Anyways, I don't have a good example now for the opposite, but I think you know what I mean. Oh, here we have one, like a little bit harsher colors and stuff like that. Fits better to that situation. If that would be too soft, would be maybe a little bit strange to have that in here. Yes, a shark. I see it not before, but near is the zoo. What? What are we talking about? Schönbrunn it was. I want it so colorful. Oh, okay. Yes, you can have it colorful like this other picture was before. Sunset. You can have it very colorful like this picture is, but maybe soft at the same time. And also, you want to look at the colors that you're using. For example, this kind of yellow orange you're using here, that kind of blue. The blue is rather a spooky blue, and that orange yellow is rather how can I say? It's not that warm. Kind of orange. It's more like a little bit of a toxic kind of orange, right? So that the colors itself are not specifically like this kind of dreamy sunset colors. Like if you compare it, like for example, here you have a nice warm, like this kind of glowing that you also have from maybe from fire or stuff like that, which feels nice. And then you have a little bit of violet and pink down here in that area. Or here you have also very nice, a nice soft blue, you see, a little bit toned down. And also here, a pink that is not too extreme, also toned down. So, yeah. Here you have some extreme colors, but again, they have some nice warm qualities to them. While you can see from the comparison, this is a different kind of orange. So try to compare these maybe a little bit to see what kind of look do you want to go for, what kind of feeling do you want to have in the colors, and how they play together. For example, here you have a nice blue and then a nice pink and orange in the background, but they have a different feel when you compare to this blue. That is also kind of like reaching through these very, is it reaching through dark clouds, or are these the clouds that glow in this kind of blue? But the blue is a little bit of a spooky blue when compared to this kind of blue, which is more like a softer, nicer, dreamy blue. So the colors have a lot of influence on how things feels. So I would maybe readjust that, and also maybe from the contrast, go a little bit softer on that, right? With the colors. Mike says, Olivia, sorry if you have covered this, but do you think Affinity Photo will make Lightroom competitor? No, absolutely not. Something like a Aperture Lightroom version of their take on library focus program. Oh, if they will make something like Lightroom. I would like that if they make something like Lightroom where you can organize your pictures. That would be really great. And if you can like batch apply the adjustments to the other images, I would really like if Serif is doing that. I have never heard them talk about that. I think they are rather up for doing a video software rather than something like that. Okay, there is something from David here. Pretty cool, very interesting. What can we say about this? I'm not sure. The selection of the scene is maybe a bit strange. Because again, like here you see that the waterfall is sticking very close to the edge of the picture. So moving that a little bit more to the right, if there's enough place to crop it like that, would maybe be a good idea to have it not that much into that. By the way, there's another thing that I'm seeing right now. If you have an action that is going on, there has to be room in the picture for that action to unfold. So, for example, if you have like here a waterfall, it has to be able to run somewhere. And if you have a car, it has to be able to drive somewhere, right? And so here the waterfall is going like to the right, but then on the right it's hitting right into a wall. There's nothing where the waterfall could go. Of course, the waterfall is also coming towards us, but it's also going to the right. As you see, most of these things are like bending over to the right side, and then boom, it's kind of driving into the wall, right? So this is often not a good idea if you have that. We can actually, let's see here, runner. I can show you, do we have a picture? So for example, this is not a good idea to do it like this because he's running basically into a wall. Let's take a picture like this here real quick. Go here. We can actually close that. New from clipboard. Let's go cropping here. And then make this a little bit smaller like so. Oh, it's unconstrained. That's good. So look at that. If you have a runner and the runner is running into the wall of your picture, not great because his action can't go anywhere, so the action is kind of lost in that moment, right? But if you crop it the other way around, oh, sorry, there we go. If you crop it the other way, what the hell? Sorry. If you crop it like this, where the runner is coming into the picture, like so, then the runner has a lot of space to run into, and you can follow the action and you can imagine where the action is going, and that feels a lot better, right? So it's a lot better to do it like this. And also with the waterfall should have some place to flow out of. Hi, been a while since I've caught one of your live streams to see you guys. Hi, how are you doing? Sorry, I know you told me how to read that name. And it's kind of a phonetic writing, I think, I remember. But I don't know how to pronounce that. We need a library software. There's a simple nothing close to Lightroom, or you only end up with Photoshop app and capture one. You need to stay in Affinity environment. Yeah, it would be good if they make something like that. But if you want to have a really good library software, I can highly suggest that you use Adobe Bridge, because it's, first of all, it's free, which most people don't know. Adobe Bridge. This bad boy here, you see, oh, why does it say trial? I'm pretty sure it's free to use Adobe Bridge. You don't have to pay for that. But also the benefit for Bridge is it loads the pictures very fast and it works with almost any format. This is also good. Not just photos, videos too, audio, PDFs, vector files, everything. This is a complete like organizer for all of your digital assets, which is really great because often you have more than just photos. When you edit photos, like you have, like for example, vector art that you put over your photo, stuff like that. You can see it here, or you work with PDF stuff like that. You can also see it here in Adobe Bridge, and I'm pretty sure it's for free. Anyways, okay. So with the waterfall, I would put it actually. Do we find a waterfall here? Waterfall. Let me see. Waterfall. Water. Oh, this is also very much on the border here. Should we take this picture? But this is a little bit too much. 1 second. Let me find something where this is flowing in a similar way. And we have space to crop on both sides. Maybe this one here? Yeah, let's take this one here. All right. So let's do this again. Undo, open, crop. All right. So if we have something, first of all, like I said, if this is touching the side of the picture, that always feels strange. You can see like already it's kind of biting. It's kind of, it's like compressed and not good if something is touching the side of the picture. But also it can't flow anywhere. There's no way where the water can go, right? But if you move this over, can I not just, oh, I can move this, all right. Let's go like this, maybe give it a little bit more space over here. Or there's another waterfall over here. By the way, if you, like I said, if you decisively cut it off, like so, let's do this. If it decisively goes over the edge, that's a different thing. And now you can see also it has some space where the water can flow to the right side. So that's actually better. But now we have some trees here. So this is not a great crop, but just if you look at the waterfall here, it feels a lot better if it happens like this. And ideally you don't want to cut it on either side. Let's go like this maybe. Give it a bit more space over here. How far can we go over here? Cropping is not easy. It's kind of an art form on its own, by the way. To find the kind of right selection you want to have for that. Let's go like this maybe. Then over here a little bit more. Should we maybe go like this? Come a little bit closer to the subject. Although this is not something you can use on Instagram, right? So this is actually not a great example. But yeah. So this is focused more on the waterfall. It can flow to the right side. We have a little bit of focus here on the details in the front. So that's better than when you have the crop over here. This is basically what I'm trying to say. You see how this doesn't really feel good if that is just pushed into the corner. Let me make a 1x1 crop here real quick. So how would we crop that 1x1? Let's make it decisive that we crop this. I want to catch a little bit here of that front part. And then we have this waterfall here on the right, but maybe we can also integrate that a little bit. Let's have a look at this. Is this, as we have enough space on top? Yeah, not great, but like I said, stupid. Is this better? Yeah, that's kind of better. I almost like that. Minus that waterfall here in the background. Maybe we can also remove that from the picture. I don't know. Let's see if we remove that. Yeah, that feels better. Didn't remove it in the right way, but you know what I mean. It's better. Oh, it came back. Yeah, now. Okay, that feels kind of better, right? Okay, good. Let's go on here. What does the chat say? Just wondering if that is what is happening here. What do you say? Unless you click some particular... Do you see what I'm seeing? Yes, right? Again, sorry, what did you write? Unless you click some particular option, I understand Instagram auto crops landscape images. This happens when... No. Wait a second. Am I stupid here? No. This is cropped by the person who uploaded the picture. When you upload it with your phone, it gives you you have only two choices on Instagram. So you're right about that. You only have two choices where either you can have it square, which is a ratio of 1:1, or you can have a portrait mode, which is a ratio of 4:5, but you can still select what kind of selection or what kind of part you want to crop out with these two ratios. So you're fixed on the ratio, but not fixed on what kind of part you take from the image. So you still have the ability to do that, but of course you need to have the room in the picture in the first place, right? So that's important. COVID is no subscription. Adobe can't expect we pay monthly fees. Affinity is golden. As simple as that. Like Pixelmate, I love it. So that's why we need photo library for Affinity Photo. Well, it depends on your personal needs, I would say. Masking is still very bad in Affinity, far from Photoshop, unfortunately. Yeah, that's basically you're kind of giving you two different arguments in your different comments. Like Affinity, like Photoshop does some things better, and if you need that, the money's worth it. If you don't need it, why spend money on that? So this is the thing you need to figure out for yourself. Is it worth the money that you spent, or is it not worth the money that you're spending? I wouldn't base it on subscription or not. Forget about subscription or not, because you're also going to buy updates for a software or not. Do you want to invest as much money? Do you get money out of that or not? If you can make the money back, then the investment is like meaningless, right? Because you're not paying it, the customer is paying it, right? If you can't make the money back, if you do it on your own as a hobby, then of course you have to figure out if it's worth to you personally to spend that amount of money. That's a personal choice, right? But I'm not a fan of the subscription either. So just to point it out. Here this actually has cropped that as in the preview, but not in the final picture. But I think this is 4:5. I'm pretty sure it is. Anyway, so this is really nice. I like these photos of train tracks where you have this kind of view into the distance, and it gives you kind of this perspective of... It's always this kind of tracks always have a little bit of adventure and traveling in them, right? When you see tracks going somewhere, there's always this kind of, your mind follows the tracks and always starts to create some stories or expect some adventure at the end of that. It's like the end of the rainbow, right? A little bit. So train tracks always have this kind of magical kind of thing in there. I also like the perspective. It's pretty cool. Very nice. Of course, the sky is a little bit blown out. By the way, you can solve this a little bit by bringing down the values and giving that a bit of color. Let me maybe make a screenshot here from that because I can't save that. This is also another benefit of Facebook. So I have to say, I have to say that Facebook actually is a lot better for these kind of challenges and competitions. Let's copy this over. So what you can do here is, with this blown out sky, is let's make here, for example, a curve adjustment, and then we can bring this down a little bit. Sorry, no. What's happening? Oh, I have to fix this down here, like so. There's another way to do that, by the way. Let's just do it like this right now. You have to fix these other points, so this is maybe a little bit more cumbersome. But you can see that now this is not complete white, and because this is not complete white, now you can color this in. For example, with what I'm talking about right now. With adjustments. Sorry. Let me think about that for a second. Oh yeah, here, selective color, for example. Is that selective color? No, split toning. Sorry, split toning. Highlights, because these are highlights now. You can see I can color them in. Not working right now, so great. Sorry. Let's see. So this is for the shadows, of course. but we don't want to edit the shadows. I want to give this a little bit of beige, but right now my brain is just failing on doing that. Let me see this. That is probably better. Preserve luminosity. Like so. I think, let me turn this off. Yes, this is a good example. So of course this with the lens filter, the other values are also picking a little bit up of that color, but you can see here, if I have this completely white and blown out, the lens filter can't pick that up. So you can see these values up here, they are still white. They are not getting more color from the lens filter, while when I pull this a little bit down, so this is not a complete white value here, the lens filter can actually react with that and give some color to that, and with that you can make it softer. Of course you want to choose a better color tone and adjust this a little bit finer here, everything, but this is how you can make a blown out sky into something that is a little bit nicer to look at than a completely white color, right? So play around with that by just reducing that. And by the way, this is, I told you there's a different way to do that. This is when you go to levels here, you can see down here, this says output black level, output white level. And this is the maximum value that the black or the white value can have. So you can pull this in here and you can see that this also will make that the white values cannot be 100% white anymore. So you can see that this is getting a little bit darker. So that is another way to do that. But you can also see that this is affecting also the other bright values in your image. So you have to play a little bit around with what works best for that kind of situation. All right. What's the time? Oh my God, we have 2 hours 30. I'm so sorry. Did I spend so much time talking about these pictures? And I think some people edited links here too. I'm so sorry. I completely got lost in time. Wow. Oh, there's only 2 more. Okay, that's good. So let's go to the next one. I hope you're still interested in that. Thank you very much, David, for that picture. What else do we have here? There's another waterfall. You see this is then going bigger. So that's good. Yeah, it's also nice. You have here, this one has a decisive element here on the right side in the foreground that is like not too close to the border, so that is nice. Again, the waterfall is like flowing a little bit into the, like, there's no space where it can flow on the right side, on the left side here, but that's okay. By the way, in this case, you could think about maybe flipping the picture around. Just because of because of what the motion tells you. So basically in images, the way you read images is that on the left side is home and on the right side is away. So basically in this case, the water is flowing towards you because it's flowing to the left side, while when it's flowing to the right side, it's flowing away. And that this away has basically kind of a little bit more space to flow into. So it's kind of, I guess it would feel better if the waterfall flows into the other direction. Of course, you probably maybe want to stay true to the original waterfall, but if not, that might be an option. Let's test this theory real quick. It might not be super impressive to see that here right now, but let's go here and flip that. I can't flip it. Why can't I flip it? Now I can. Okay, cool. Boom. So you can see that this is a little bit more open, right? From the motion, that this is flowing out of the picture away from you. And the original one, this is flowing towards you. And because towards you, you are the starting point of that story, it's a little bit more limited where it can flow, right? Yeah, so this is actually working better when you look at a plane. I want to just show you that how that works. Let's have here a plane. Plane flying. Yeah. So you can see here, when you look at that picture here, let's copy this over also. This is a plane that is coming home, right? You feel like this is flying towards you, while this is, when you flip that over, Oh, come on. All right. Now the thing has undocked here. Anyways, let's go in here and flip that over. This is a plane that is flying away because you're on the left side home. This is leaving home. So this is flying away and this is flying home. And by the way, if you say, no, that's not the case, this is not how I tick because I'm special, let me draw you a little line and tell you that this is exactly how you work. Look at that line here. 1 second, I have to make a line. I have to make the settings. Here's the proof. Boom. Is this line going upwards or downwards? And I'm 100% sure you're going to say this line is going upwards because we see things from the left to the right. And this is where you start. This is where you are. And this is where your future is over here. And so this is away and this is home. This is just how we see pictures, always like that. This line is always going to be upwards, not downwards. So I don't think there's a lot of people who would say this line is going downwards because, yeah, it could go downwards if you see it from the other side, but you don't. You see it from that side, right? And so, yeah, this is also when you look at news and you see this for your, I don't know, any kind of thing, you know, okay, things are going bad because they're going down, right? Anyways, let's go and have some more review here. There's so many interesting concepts, right? In how things work, and sometimes they're really like obvious but strange if you look at them from a different perspective, like a waterfall instead of a line, right? Pretty nice, pretty cool photo here. It's great as it is. The only thing maybe you could do is to take the yellow out of the green. This is another little detail that we can look into. 1 second. I think it's okay if the stream is a little bit longer. This is why we are here, right? If you're in a rush, maybe, I don't know, watch TikTok. What can I say? Art takes time. That's what it is. There we go. So you see here, if you look at this value, there's a lot of yellow in here actually, right? Can we open this up? So you can see this green here is very close to that yellow over here. So this is a yellowish green rather than a green, right? Let's undo this. And so you can go into here where you have your selective colors, and then you can go here to green, and you can just suck out the yellow of that and then push in some other values to make that green more green. Let me see. There is very little green in here. By the way, this in other software, this is easier. If you have, do we have some? There's yellow also. Let's reduce the yellow over here. Let's see when we push this a little bit around. For example, Lightroom makes this a lot easier to do that. Why is there so little? That is kind of surprising. Wait, we make this darker. Am I crazy right now? What's going on here? Yellows again. Well, this is very different than how it usually works. Usually you reduce the yellow and put some more of the other values in there. But here it works like this. All right. What can I tell you? Anyways, the point is to try to have green elements in nature a little bit more green than they usually are. And it just makes it a little bit closer to nature, right? This was not exactly the best example here right now, but you can see this is a bit more green now than before and makes it a little more like nature looking. than when you have this kind of yellow, bright yellow leaf here. Or like not bright, but like, you know, overexposed and yellow at the same time. All right, good. It's just otherwise really cool picture. Why does it look more green here, by the way? This might be, oh no, it doesn't. It's just bigger here. Okay, good. All right, so that was a bit strange. There we go. It looks better in the small version here, right? Interesting. It has more green in that. Size also influences color, by the way. All right, is this, by the way, when has this posted? 4 days ago, and this one? 28 weeks ago. So this is not part of the challenge. This is part of the challenge. Very nice. So here you have some nice soft colors. Cool photo. Nice crop. So not too much to say about that. Thank you very much, David. Really cool picture here. Yeah. Nothing to add here, actually. Pretty nice. Okay, let's look at these pictures here that have been posted. Oh, okay, there we can give some good feedback. That's good. Does image need rasterizing? It depends on what you want to do. For example, if you want to edit the layer, for example, use eraser on that. You have to rasterize it. If you want to copy stuff out of that, you have to rasterize it, because these things can't be done with an image. An image is kind of a smart layer, basically, without the smart functions. Just like it preserves the original image in the original resolution. This is what the image layer does, while the pixel or the rasterized layer, the pixel layer, is rasterizing in that specific size. You can still resize it afterwards, but then it has become a pixel layer that you can fully edit, while an image layer is the preserved original image. Also, of course, bigger file size. All right. Oh, there's a bee up here. That's pretty cool. I didn't see that. Yeah. So, of course, this is a situation where you just have to take the shot, because, well, it's kind of that situation where you're happy to just capture that. So you can't really say, oh, I need to push my lens to another position. But on the other hand, you can prepare for these situations. So that's also something to think about, where, for example, set up your camera on a tripod on blossoms that are frequently used by bees, and then just wait for the bee to come and then take the shot. So you have prepared all of the shot and depth of field and your adjustments for the brightness and everything you need to do, and then just sit there maybe 10 minutes or something and wait for the bee to come around to take a nice shot. Probably only takes 1 or 2 minutes if it's a busy bee day. And then you have a cleaner picture, because you can see here the picture is so busy also with the background that you can't really see the bee in that situation. Also in these kind of situations, you can see from the background that either you can't make the aperture different, and this is why you have so much detail in the background, or you just set a high aperture, and because of that, you see a lot of detail. So the lower the aperture is, the more you get the blur in the background. And of course, this also has to do with how close you are to the subject. In this case, you're very close to the subject, so there should be more blur in the background, especially with a low aperture. This is also why you have these expensive lenses that can go 2.8 or 1.4 or stuff like that, because then you have all the blur in the background. You can isolate the subject really beautifully in that case. Not every lens can do that. Also, you can, for example, this is why, for example, for portrait, often not just for the perspective you use an 85mm lens, but also because you have more distance and then you get a nicer blur through that setup with the subject, rather than let's not talk about that. Let's talk about this picture here. Super different. Anyways. Yeah, this is something you can do, like just work with a tripod and wait for the bee to come around. Other than that, it's a really cool shot. But what you can also do here, editing-wise, is that you just make, for example, keep more color in the bee and the foreground flowers, and then have less color. So desaturate the background a little bit, make the background a little bit darker, also reduce the contrast a little bit in the background. You can also artificially blur the background if you want to, and then you have more attention on the bee. Again, I can't copy this over. Let me simply make a screenshot, and then I'm going to look at the chat. Sorry, I have seen that it moved, but I didn't look at it yet. Let me copy this over here real quick. New from clipboard. So let's make an adjustment here, for example, for vibrancy, and then let's reduce the saturation here, like a little bit, like so. Then invert that. So I'm just making a quick version of that. You of course want to take some more time to do that. Give me a bigger brush here, and just to show you. So you can see when I take some attention away here by making these parts here less saturated in the picture, you will have more attention on that B here in the foreground. Let's make that selection, make a second for a curve adjustment here. Make this a little bit darker also, maybe. Bring these values here maybe a little bit down. And then also let's make another adjustment here for contrast and brightness. I actually could have used just contrast and brightness. Let's give that a try real quick. Let's turn off the curves here, reduce the contrast, reduce the brightness on the background. And so you can see like that, you have more attention on that B. But you can, as you can see, like I said, I didn't make a great selection of that B. Let's make another one here real quick. Vibrancy again. Let's bring in some more saturation here, and then invert that layer again and paint in some here and some here on these flowers. Does this do anything? Why is it not working? Oh, it's working, but just a little bit. Let's just enhance this a bit more. Overdo it a little bit so you see the effect. And you can see now, like I said, these selections are crap that I have done. Just I want to show you a quick effect on how you have more attention on that right now. So you can see this has the attention spread evenly all over the picture. And here, when you reduce the background and enhance the foreground, you have more attention on these flowers and that bee over here, so it stands out more. Again, make a better selection, make nicer, finer adjustments. This is more extreme just to show you the effect, right? Okay, so let's have a look at that. Well, I would do a lot of adjustments here for the colors and how warm it is and stuff like that, because this is a nice shot. But it's just not edited, I would say, right? The colors are very like bleak and like not very interesting. So you can do a lot with that. I think this would also be good for Viveza to get out a lot of details in there. By the way, a thing you want to look at here is don't make the details on the skin too crisp in that case, because then it's going to start to look hard. And of course, this animal has a soft skin, more of a slimy skin. So you want to keep the details soft, but at the same time, maybe make it a little bit warmer, make everything a little bit nicer to look at. Yeah. And just you can compare it to other pictures. And I think especially with saving the highlights and stuff like that, you can do a lot more, for example, with Viveza or with Nick Collection rather than with Affinity Photo, because Affinity Photo is not so great at saving these highlights or creating texture on subjects, right? It can do a lot of things, but these two areas, it's a little bit limited in that regard, right? And in this case, I feel like you could do a lot on the skin here, on the... Is it a frog or is it a, what is it called, the other one? The knot frog? I don't know what it's called. Anyways, let me switch over here to the talk view real quick and have a look at the chat, because these have been, as far as I can tell, all of the pictures. Let me reload here real quick. Maybe there has been a late addition. No. Okay, great. Whew, wow. Okay, lots of talking. I hope you got some interesting feedback here. So let's see, what does the chat say? David says thank you. You're welcome, David. Rex says, I took the photo of the bee and it was taken with the iPhone 13. Oh, wow. Really cool photo. And it was the test shot as I just got the phone. That is pretty cool. By the way, have a look at your camera app if it has something that is called single shot or something similar. That might also, it might be just an Android thing, but the cool thing is when you do single shot, it kind of takes a video and takes photos at the same time, and afterwards the software is deciding for you the best shots. So in difficult shots that are hard to capture, I found that single shot, especially with insects, works great because you can just move your camera around and then afterwards you get some really cool photos from that. But I'm not sure if the iPhone can do that. The Android can do. That's something I know. I didn't have my tripod. It was a drone. It was done by hand. Yeah, of course. No problem with that. Yeah. And iPhones are really great for that kind of situation, just spontaneous photography. And I found that they take really great macro pictures. Maybe not, I don't have an iPhone, but I know about my Samsung phone. So smartphones in general are good for that. If you have a high-end smartphone that has a good lens, that is, right? Okay. Did I miss any other comments? Let me please know if I did. Hi, been a while since I caught. You said something about money, but I don't know what the context is. There is simply nothing close to Lightroom, or you only end up with photos apps or Capture One. We need to stay in Affinity environment. I mean, Lightroom is very specific in what it is doing, and it has a very specific look. So usually you can see if a photo is edited with Lightroom because it has these kind of colors. The reason why Lightroom creates these kind of colors is not just the Adobe color science and how that creates that colors, but also how the sliders are set up. For example, Affinity Photo is completely missing these kind of sliders. And you have these different sliders. Affinity Photo can do a lot of color adjustments, but in Lightroom, the sliders are specifically designed so you get these results for these kind of colors. And this is what creates that specific Lightroom look that often is a little bit artificial, but still very good colors. And it has become a look online, right? A lot of people use specifically that. And I think this is also where this kind of fashion comes from teal orange, for example, or moody brown look, because Lightroom makes it super easy to do these kind of looks, which is different from what, for example, Affinity Photo does, or Nik Collection does, or Luminar. Luminar is inspired by Lightroom. You see that from the results you're getting, that the colors, they try to get close to that, rather than from other software. And also Lightroom has sliders that have inbuilt, how can I say, a process built into no, that's a very stupid explanation. Let me think about that. In Lightroom, you have often sliders that do what you expect the slider to do rather than what they technically supposed to do, right? So they are basically kind of smart sliders in a certain way. Photolab has the same thing, where you have, for example, these kind of where you enhance the brightness or you enhance the shadows or stuff like that. And it only goes for the bright parts, and it only makes the picture brighter in a way where how you would expect it to be brighter. While, for example, in Affinity Photo, the sliders are more technical, so you need to know how to use them, because for example, a slider that makes something brighter is making everything brighter. It's not thinking about what would you expect to become brighter and what should not get brighter at that moment. It just makes everything brighter at that moment, right? And so you have to have a better understanding of how to use that. And Lightroom is built to help you adjust images in a way that you emotionally would adjust them, not technically. So this is made more for people who have more of this kind of, how can I say, less of a technical background, more of an artistic background, more of a creative background, right? This, I think, is what Lightroom is made for. in comparison to Photoshop or Affinity Photo, where it's more technical, right? So they all have their place, and I feel like Photolab also has this kind of thing that supports you more in a creative way, but it's more technical than Lightroom is, for example. Did I miss any other comments here? Masking is still I've already read that. Unless you click some particular option, I understand insert. Oh, okay, I've already read that. Let me know if I missed something. Thank you for your stream today. It was again joy and help. Thank you very much, Kerstin. Absolutely. Always happy to share some interesting insights. And please ask more questions if you want to, and if you have them. Rax says, or Rex, I didn't have my... Oh, okay, I've already read that. It was a new macro feature on iPhone 13 Pro. Oh, wow. Okay, pretty cool. Yeah, I hear they have some really interesting new things added to that. And this is also, I think, in these devices also, not just the software, but also the devices, you can see how the space of photography has become so much bigger than in the past. Because I think from the time where we grew up, a photo basically was a photo, right? There wasn't really a big difference. There was a big difference in what you would photograph. Like there you have like a wildlife photo, a sport photo, a news photo, a birthday photo. But they all had in common that they are just photos, right? They are pictures, and good people could take good pictures, and that's it, right? But now you have a huge universe of different kinds of photography. They often don't even really overlap that much, right? And that's really interesting. For example, how can I say? Let me explain. So a lot of photography has become throwaway photography. Photography has become an everyday part of our language and cultural habit, and we take photos and then just discard of them. They are not meant to be kept. They are meant to look at and then instantly thrown away, instantly forgotten. That's the main purpose, and this is how the devices are built. So you can take the photo, edit the photo, and share the photo as quickly as possible. This process is extremely important, that you don't have anything keeping you from taking a photo and sharing it 5 seconds later and it's edited in a way that looks professional. That is absolutely important, to have this fluency, because this kind of photography is integrated in the cultural everyday process. Completely different from before, where you would take a photo and then you take it to your photo studio and then you take it up a week later and then you put it into an album and then you invite your friends for a coffee and cake and you show them the picture 2 weeks later, right? Super slow process, completely different kind of integration. And these are photos you want to keep, right? So that the process is very, very different right now, right? Or you have these action cameras like the GoPro that are, how can I say, in a situation where you usually couldn't bring a camera and that haven't been accessible at all to photography, right? And that's interesting that you can do that now, and you can open up that kind of universe to photography in a completely different way. And also this kind of photography has, again, a different language than the photos you have taken before. Because, for example, in this case, you often would take photos automatically, right? Because it's strapped to your head and the camera has to do the job. So this is also different in the sense that you have a camera that has to be able to work really well and keep the image, for example, stabilized and well lit and in focus on its own, completely out of your control, because you are the person who does the action. So you are the actor and the photographer at the same time, while before you would be either of them, but not the same, right? So it's really, really interesting how photography is changing. And I really enjoy that I can play with these devices and hopefully share some good insights on them with you. All right, that's it, I would say, for today. It was a pretty long stream, and I actually managed to almost reach 3 hours. Sorry for that. Usually it's 2 hours, but I kind of like to stream a little bit longer. All right. Hope you enjoyed that. Whew, wow. Okay. Thank you very much. And see you soon. Right? Bye.